Ben Dixon, welcome to you, Ben.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. Just an update on the laid out. So Tex Walker is out. Sid Draper will come in and be the substitute early in this match. And I just want to talk about the key and pardon the pun. Ben Keys is definitely massive for Adelaide, and especially midfield forward and the way he plays his roles. You got Fogarty, Thilthorpe and Rankin. They're the Ferraris, but you can't start a Ferrari unless you got the keys, and I feel his role in Adelaide season so far has been very pivotal. 17 disposals on average. He's kicked 16 goals, 6 score involvements. He's averaging per game, so he has his hand in everything. So if you're an enemy analysis from West Coast perspective, you'd be putting some time and effort into him. He is a connector, he hits the scoreboard, and it plays a big part for the Crows.
Yeah, good call. Looking forward to this one getting underway. Looking forward to calling alongside Kelly Underwood as well. Welcome to you, Kel.
Thank you, Dwayne. It's great to be here. Very much looking forward to this one. I wonder how the Eagles will back up after last week's emotional victory. They used the mantra last week with their coach, Andrew McQualter, be the best teammate you can be. And I wonder if they can carry that on here this afternoon. The Adelaide Crows, 6 wins, 4 losses, and as you said, a win today, and they'll be into the top 4. Sitting alongside Mark Rasciuto and Sean Burgoyne. And Rude, no Tex Walker today. He's a late out. What does that mean for Darcy Fogarty? He's coming off arguably one of his best games, 4th straight against the Crows at the against Collingwood at the MCG last week.
And arguably having his best season as well. 25 goals, not quite halfway through the season. You can see him sitting up at the top end of the Coleman medal. Look, he has just matured fantastically over the last few years. It takes a long time for these big forwards to grow up and feel comfortable and understand their role in an AFL football side, and Darcy's done that now. He's not just kicking goals, he's actually a real good organiser and a good leader of the football club, and that has all sort of blossomed out of the last few years. So at some stage in the future, there's not going to be a Tex Walker out on the field, full stop, but today they've got an opportunity just to practice what it's like to be without one of the greatest ever goal kicker at the Adelaide Football Club. So great opportunity for the forwards and for everyone in the team today to play without Tex.
And Sean, what a great exhibition of Indigenous football we're going to see this afternoon. 2 Indigenous footballers, of course, for the Crows in Miller and Rankin. And you can see left of screen there's 4 Indigenous players in Tim Kelly, Liam Ryan, Tyler Brockman and Terrell Dewar. Dewar's going to stay as the sub. And tell us a little bit about Liam Ryan. He's been playing more in the midfield this year, Sean.
Well, he has. Last week was a real good game from him. Had the 14 disposals, 2 goals. And of his 14 disposals, 9 were score involvement. So get the ball in his hands, definitely centre forward, and they will hit the scoreboard. He's 2nd for score involvements at West Coast, 3rd for goal assists at West Coast. So he just needs the ball in his hands more often going forward. And I think getting him on ball and getting him a touch early does wonders for his confidence. And also just frees up the forward line, gets another young guy in there and just throws the magnets around, as the coach said before the game. So get the ball in his hands, centre forward, and they should hit the scoreboard.
Crows have won the last 5 between these two. The last time the West Coast Eagles won was on this ground back in round 18, 2021. And we'll wait and see where Oscar Allen lines up this afternoon as well. The last 2, back where he belongs in that forward 50. And it was great to see him hit the scoreboard last week, kick a couple in that emotion-charged victory.
Adelaide have won the toss and are kicking with the wind, and there's a reasonable breeze today too. Might even get stronger as the day goes on, so expect Adelaide to take full advantage of that in that first quarter.
So Oscar Allen going forward, which is a good sign for Eagles fans. And we're all set. Harley Reid, he's hit form the last couple of weeks. Got a little bit of that swagger back. Ryan in the centre, Brady Hoff in the centre, and Berry, who's been the sub recently, coming in for a start. And we're all set to go. Flynn coming off his best game in the yellow and gold, up against Riley O'Brien. It's all go from Adelaide Oval. Round 11 continues. O'Brien, Berry should get there first. Tackled straight away by Ryan. Tries to get the handball away. O'Brien, here's Rankin. Burst. Harley can't pick him up. Draws the defender. Now there's a free kick. He travelled too far. It's a travel. Oh, he got excited. excited in Indigenous round back at home, Dwayne.
Oh, they should extend it to 20 anyway. And the kicks to 20 maybe. Little chip inside by Brock.
Outside 5. Inside.
Slam towards, well, Allen's playing forward as we mentioned, but Mark taken by Keane. You're allowed to run 20 from full back. They've been allowing that for all the last couple of seasons, so they might as well make it for the midfield as well. Wide ball from Saligo. Keys, the man Ben Dixon said, is so important. Gaunt winner of the best and fairest last year. Just a little bit of a hesitation step, and then decides to continue on. No Tex Walker if you've just tuned in, so a bit of a late withdrawal. They've rested him, and he kicked 19 goals in 2 games one season against the Eagles 2 years ago, so 10 goals and 9 goals in that season, so breathe a sigh of relief the Eagles coaching staff knowing Tex isn't out there.
Yeah, a couple of the key position defenders for the West Coast would breathe a sigh of relief, Edwards and Brock, but they have got Thilthorpe and Foggy to worry about.
Here's Hewitt taken high by Cumming.
Might see the Eagles cut some angles, not so much keep the ball long today, which might catch Adelaide off guard a little bit early.
Great to see Elijah Hewitt, a top draft pick, playing some consistent footy after a couple of injury-riddled ones. And there's the first contested mark going to the Crows ruckman over the West Coast Eagles ruck. Down the line, on the lead, Dawson, so strong overhead, he'll want to go. Has a bounce, delivers on the left, sees something in the pocket that he likes. It's still Thorpe, the contested marking, Kingy's 1 of 3.
Gee, they took the time blowing the whistle, didn't they? Whether it was a mark or a free kick. He certainly thought about whether it was there or not, the umpire, but Matty Nick said when we talked pre-game about only having the 2 key tools, you might see a bit more of Dawson and other players down there, and Dawson was the one who took the mark.
Well, Thilthorpe gets the ball at the highest point, does he? It's so hard to spoil that as a defender. And you put those long arms up and you're already at 200 centimetres.
Goal kicking is going to be important today with this win too. It's a bit tricky out there and they didn't take their chances last week.
The star key forward goalless last week for the first time this year. The first kick can set up your afternoon, and it's a good one by Riley.
We started with a mark by Riley O'Brien in the back line, which is exactly what they want the big ruck to do. Then Dawson did a great mark as well, and then finished off with Riley Thilthorpe. You can just see there, absolutely at the top, as Sean Burgoyne said. Marriage trying to come over the top, couldn't quite get up there up to the big fella. Marriage not small himself.
54% of the Crows' goals come from marks inside 50, so West Coast just got to be on to kill the ball in the air, give them a chance to run that out through ground ball.
Huge opportunity for Thilthorpe. Most he's ever kicked in a game is the 5. Kicked that on debut. He's kicked the 5 since. No Tex to get in his way today. Reed. Another brilliant game last week. Still only season 2. Rockman turns and goes. Just sits it on the head of Oscar Allen. In fact, just it over his head. Keen, easy cut-off mark.
Just got to hit them runs. Allen had the lead up on. If you're going to go for the lead and you kick it over the head, they're short entries, and then the opposition can intercept mark and launch off that.
He had 3 or 4 metres on him as well, Oscar Allen. Sam Berry sub last 3 games, but starts in the 22 today, so good news for him. So
that was
the record is
good kick, Dwayne.
Thilthorpe takes the mark. He's sit draper for the Crows.
Yeah, just saying Sam Berry then put it to the advantage side of Thilthorpe. Didn't give the defender Edwards any chance at all.
They did really well defensively last week. West Coast to just stop St Kilda's ball movement, but Adelaide are a different proposition. They can move the ball nice and quick.
Michaelani back to Laird, had the fumble, but he can regather here. Tries to fire it out to Miller. Stolen by Kelly. Quick hands to Baker. Now Hewitt. They can link up here. Cross over the top to Brockman. Looks inside and all by himself is Brady Hoff. Started in the midfield. Can kick the first one here for the visitors.
1 fumble, Sean, and that's what happens.
Well, West Coast pressure's been up, and we spoke to the coach, and he's made that a conscious effort across the team. But I really like the fact they didn't just get the ball and blast it from that turnover. They used their hands, they ran forward, and Brockman had the opportunity to have a crack at goal or lower his eyes. Really good passage of play from West Coast.
Much improved player for the Eagles this year. Moving from halfback into the midfield. He's a lifelong West Coast Eagles fan. They should be able to strike back and level it up at Adelaide Oval.
That's what you want to do, cause the turnovers. Laird was the one who fumbled it, and as Sean said, didn't blaze well. Let's have a look at it. That was the after he got the ball back from the fumble. Just here, Kelly getting his arms up. That was really important. Look at the run from Hoff. He's run 100 metres to get this ball. Great find too. Lowered the eyes, found the easy target.
Well, there's a level of maturity in that. Instead of just blazing away, you actually keep calm, composed, run and link up, use the numbers and get it in a really good attacking position. They just need to replicate that now.
The first goal of his career last week against the Saints, Brady Holt, 24 possession game. Fined, not suspended for bumping an injured player as well. Ryan Marshall, so got away with that. Rankin will turn and go. Berry, I think he owes the one. Big crash. And now chance for Peatling. As Mark Raffuto said, that boys were down there pre-game in that breeze. It is a little tricky. It looks perfect on your screen at home, but you're going to have to make the most of their shots.
So all tied up, one apiece. Marrick to bring it back into play. You can see puts his eyes up to stop the glare from the sun and hits up Jack Graham. Graham and Baker have brought so much to this side. So much leadership. Jimby, short in a pickle was Edwards, but he gets himself out of it. Closing late was coming. Well done by Noah Long. Really had to hold himself. And now Gross. Teenager hits up Kelly.
That's on 5.
Promising build-up by the Eagles.
That's on 5.
Long.
And this is what Dicko mentioned just before, changing the angles, forcing Adelaide to defend it for longer periods.
1 or 2 changes for the Eagles. Hewitt couldn't quite get there. And now Michael Annie, quick hands. Fogarty going back to Berry. And he puts a little bit too much. He overcooks that kick for Phil Thorpe. And Edwards happy to see it out. What about Harry Edwards? Almost 4 years between wins, Dwayne, last week. It was 1,394 days between wins. He lost 36 of the last 37.
Wow.
And the one win they had, he was subbed off with concussion and he can't remember. So if we take that one out of it, it was 4 years between wins for Harry Edwards.
That's a good stat. I'll rank him with the turn, the spin, the outside of the boot. He went for the big one. It was on offer for him. It's within his repertoire, that one.
Well, he's had a few runs out of the middle already, Isaac, looking dangerous, but a bit like last week, not making the most of his opportunities.
Yeah, last week was a bizarre afternoon for him. 26 possessions and 1 goal. Looks good on the paper, but some critical misses last week. That's a critical miss straight through to Miller.
Miller can set another goal up here, and that's a mark, a fine mark taken by Peatling, another good recruit for the Adelaide Crows.
Yeah, just had a shot before too, James Peatling. He'll know that he just needs to aim a metre inside the right goalpost here and just let it try and come back with a breeze.
How good Miller's vision there, not just to kick it down the line, but off centre and find the space and find Peatling all by himself.
Signed a new 3-year deal during the week. Wayne Miller should be a Crow for life.
Peatling should be elementary, and it is. Goal for goal to start this round 11-1.
It's been a very good pickup, as you said, Kelly. James Peatling from GWS. Let's have a look at what Sean talks about here with Miller. It goes back, eyes, look at that, and executed perfectly. Could have went longer as well to Rankin over the back. It chose the right option, and Peatling, who is leading the goal assist for the Adelaide Football Club, has been a really good connector, kicking one for himself.
When you're on the end of it from a good kick, it makes you feel really good about yourself, doesn't it? Miller just had the vision and the spot, just put it perfectly there. Peatling could have 2 in the first quarter.
Shelley gone into the centre square for Adelaide.
push and shove with Brockman at the moment. Rochelle as well. 2 rucks. And O'Brien. Perfect palm down to Rochelle. You've got to kick away and Brockman picked his pocket. They're out the front. Kelly spears it to the square. 2 on 2. Ball falls to the back and it did touch a fingertip or two. Keen happy to take it through for a behind.
Just again, that composure by Brockman to hand pass it to Kelly instead of blazing away. You can see their intentions already, West Coast, is to build the ball up by hand and then entry inside 50.
Intercept mark by Flynn. There's the co-captain, Duggan. Little stagnant as he looks ahead. Just going to pop it on the head of Waterman. It comes out flying. Curtin. Keen. Effective sidestep. Can he hit up a target? Coming in was Flynn from the side. That's a big ball to be won. Dawson. Rankin. Looping handball. Swatted down by Flynn. Graham. On the left, it's a wobbly ball. Opens the door for O'Brien. And a little scrap at ground level. It'll be a ball up.
Crows begin the day 7th. Could jump into the top 4. Set their season up big time. Perfect time down to Soligo again. Crunched by the tackle machine, Graham. Number 2 tackler in the comp this year. Long kick towards the hot spot. Allen might get on the end of the tap out. Didn't quite pick it up. Keen, back, fumble, coming, danger. Goes back to mop his mess up. Allen stole it back again. Couldn't squeeze the kick through the eye of the needle and they decide not to take it through. Worrell, he had the right to take it through, but if you can kick it like that, the peddler, who's back into the lineup, why wouldn't you play on? He heads wide. Peedling, Neil Bullen, race on. Ball, tight ropes to boundary. Neil Bullen goes longer. He's got Dawson just over his head, but it stays in play. Peels back onto it. Tackle, didn't really have it. Crowd initially thought he was going to get a free, and then after I said, I'll have it, I'll ball it up. Not a bad decision in the end to let that one roll.
Dawson been down forward line abnormally more than he usually is there, Sean, isn't he? So he must be playing more half forward.
Slap forward by Brockman. Coming. Rochelle. Out wide. Soligo. He's going to put it into the heart of the 50. Dawson's there. Tries to take a one-hander. Couldn't quite. Ball still alive. Curtin. Dawson. Goes again. On the left. Slaps the goal. Back-to-back goals for the Crows.
You spoke about it, Roo, didn't you? It's going forward. He's allowing Rochelle and Rankin in there. Midfield to be longer. Keep the skipper on the field in more dangerous positions.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to play him for it. He's one of their best contested marks. West Coast pressure has been good so far. They've had their opportunities. Dawson nearly gets the mark there. Pedler puts the pressure on. Curtin comes in. Could have been anyone's goal. Dawson just had the class.
Crows are making the most of opportunities when they go inside 50, but it is 6 apiece in terms of inside 50. West Coast 6 entries have all been long bombs to Oscar Allen on top, so they're just going to a little bit smarter, lower the vision, hit those lead-ups, or take ground coming into 50.
Change up forward line as well, so no Walker, and the options are plenty. Thilthorpe, obviously, you've got Dawson, Rankin, Fogarty, Curtin, who plays a forward, so the Eagles found out about an hour before that Walker was out. Maybe they found out a bit more ahead of that, but they're now trying to adjust as Cole is dumped, dropped it. Umpire let it go. Duggan slams on the boot, gets it to half forward. They've got the numbers behind the ball. Laird, handed it off. Michael Annie going nowhere. Dawson, Brownlow medal contender, top 5 in the Coaches Award right now. Massive value in the midfield, but could wreak havoc as a forward. Keen can't quite collect it first time, then he's collected as he collects his second time.
Just saw Harley Reid just blitz through the midfield stoppage there and get on his bike and head inside 50. Didn't have an opponent, but you can see who picks him up here.
They'd want to hurry and pick him up, Sean, because here he is. Reid couldn't quite get a clean kick away. Our expert commentator Sean Burgoyne all over that one. And it'll be a free kick now to the Eagles. Cole's going to take it. Inside 50 count. It'll be 2 more now to the Eagles. Can they make the Crows pay? It's a high ball floating across in front is Thilthorpe.
By himself.
Oh, a risky kick. It might be stolen here. The handball goes off. Harley turns around, and it should be easy pickings for Reid, and it is.
Yep, just capitalising on Riley Thilthorpe's kick there. Just gave it a little bit too much flight in the back line. Couldn't remember who'd come through and cut it off. Let's have a look. Here's Thilthorpe. You see, he's on his own. He just jumps up there, takes an easy mark and thinks he can just lay the kick off.
Brockman comes through.
Is it Brockman?
Yep. I really like Brockman here. He's watching the kicker the whole time, and he scoots across and again shows composure. He could blaze away and have a snap there. Like gives it to Harley, who just lost his direct opponent. I think it may have been Hinge or someone in the stoppage. But again, Brockman using his hands to put someone else in a better position.
He's had some speed humps in his career, Tyler Brockman, but 26 games for Hawthorn. His first go at AFL level. See if he can make the most of this season as the Eagles season's starting to grow now. Hewitt wide, gave it off. Williams blasts it, hits a good spot, playing in front. Position A is keen.
That's his third intercept mark.
Rankin slips it over the top. Riccielli down the spine, they travel. There's Dawson again. Ginby with the task. Did well, knocked it out. Got it out of the area. Perfect bit of play.
Good kid.
In defence, didn't take possession. Allen on the run. Gave it to Long. Open space inside 50. Ryan, not quite. Kept his feet initially. Goes back in, try and ferret it out. I'll take that, the Eagles. Ball up inside 50.
They're looking good, the Eagles. They're really having a genuine crack here. Remember, they are kicking into a pretty strong breeze in this first quarter.
Laird breathes a big sigh of relief there in a one-on-one with Ryan inside 50. Will be tossed in the air again. Jack Graham doing all that hard work at ground level. Thilthorpe in the ruck. Hewitt happy to keep it in, and we'll go again. So stoppage to stoppage. Crows kick the first through Thilthorpe. Eagles have gone with them. Out to Hewitt. Takes a little bit of a while to pick it up, and then the handball back to Hunt goes over the boundary. And good pressure from the Crows.
They're set up really well behind the ball here, West Coast. They've got Cole as the spare, but they're really well set up in terms of a counter-attack if there's a quick kick by Adelaide.
They need a confidence, Dicko, confidence and connection to get them into this contest early, and they've got it. Allen, juggling ball again, Hewitt, tackled by Peatling, 360 tackle, gets his kick away. Still under the pump here, the Crows. And a hurried kick out of there by Zach Taylor, spoilt down and taken it high. No, all clear by Harry Edwards to Neil Bullen over the boundary line.
They also have Bailey Williams back there as well, so I think they might even have two spare. Bailey Williams looks like he's going to go into the ruck now.
2 goals against the Saints last week. Bailey Williams, he can push forward and kick him as well. Thilthorpe likewise can do exactly that. Second rucks going out at the two of them. Forward second rucks, which is what most teams are doing these days. Peatling wins a free.
I like the level of confidence, though. If you're going to have 2 spares back, which West Coast have, you're going to release 2 up into the ball. So that relies a lot of heat from the West Coast in terms of their midfield.
Peatling long. Thilthorpe edged under it. Marrick, turnover. Neil Bullen has delayed the handoff a little too long. Dawson lays the tackle on Duggan.
Their pressure is good there, West Coast. Just be able to cut off that forward handball.
Yeah, it was a great smother, wasn't it, Roo?
Yeah, they're up and about. They're on their toes, and that's why Brockman intercepted the other end as well. They're having a good crack here, West Coast.
They are. Berry tried to charge through a couple, and he was going nowhere.
This is where they got to make the field big, spread, and then change the angles. Force Adelaide to defend for longer instead of kicking the ball long from behind centre.
Jack Graham, we spoke about him pre-game. He's a tackling machine.
He is, isn't he? He's just brought that fierce pressure to the Eagles. Cole, like the look of this. Hoff, he'll go. Every time they get it, they look to go forward. A nice run, and it is Waterman. Separation of the opponent. And Jake was able to snare it in the air.
Well, Rui's mentioned the breeze. Waterman got separation because the ball just held up in the breeze. and he watches it and judges it a lot better than his direct opponent.
11 inside 50s to 6. That's West Coast way in the first quarter into the breeze. They're having a dinky die crack at this one. Love what I'm watching.
So to level it up at Adelaide Oval for the best possible start for the West Coast Eagles. Kicked a couple last week. It holds up in the breeze and it gets there.
Well, he's their best forward, isn't he now, Waterman? With Allen having his body issues, there's a bit of a transition there. He's a gun forward. He just watches that ball in the air and gets separation because he just judges it better. Quality, always hits the ball hard in the hands. They're having a real good quarter, West Coast.
Yeah, Elijah Hewitt getting his hands on the ball as well. He's up to 7 disposals. Brockman's had 5. Hewitt he just needs a run at it, Hewitt, doesn't he? Needs a run at it. If he can do that, he's going to be one of the most improved players in the second half of the year. There's Waterman. He's up to 15 goals for the season as well, Jake.
2 goals last week against the Saints for Waterman as well. I've mentioned a few times, Eagles starting to find some form, coming off their first win of the season last week. They did play here at the Adelaide Oval earlier this year in a smash gather round. Feels like a completely different team.
It does, doesn't it?
They were demolished 17 goals to 6 by the Blues in that one. Michaelani heads long over the back. Pedler back in and back amongst the goals.
Nice when you come back into the side and get a little over the top like that one, but to his credit, he read it better than everyone else. You could see it going over the back from the moment it left the boot. Let's have a look at it. As soon as he kicked it, get over the back. His opponent jumped at it and just left it easy as you can get. Sandy Brock was the player there that just misread it totally. Needed either to knock it or stay down. Pedler stayed down and got an easy goal.
Great to see Emery back in this team. His first game since round 8 last year. Hasn't been able to get any consistency, and you can see the shoulder strap. He has had some shoulder injuries.
That body injury to his body right from an underage football. He kicked 30 goals in 2023, so he can absolutely play at the top level. Just needs a good run at it.
O'Brien down to Berry. It trickled free to O'Brien, and then Rochelle was taken high.
Behind your mark, Josh. Stand.
He'll want to go. He dabs it, stabs that pass, and it comes off. Gilthorpe, right place, right time.
Sure he was aiming for him or not, sure, but it doesn't matter.
There was a perfect leading lane there, and he just kicked the worm burner in there. And as all good forwards do, you go for everything, Drew.
Well, you can have multiple leads going at the same time, especially today when there's wind blowing to that end. If someone leads and the defender goes with him, I would be the next man in line. There'll be a couple of people today that will take a chest mark, third man in line.
And that is hitting the post.
Doesn't seem to be having a problem today with his fingers, or he's had a number of dislocations.
4 dislocations.
Had the one in the west where it was a compound. Ooh. You wouldn't know it by watching him.
Just having a problem with his foot. Duggan down the spine. Little nudge on Ryan. I said it was okay. Kelly put the handball up. Miller, who was doing the nudging. Hands and knees. Now pleading for a free because he didn't have it. Holding the ball. Okay, so there you go. Who dragged it in? Kelly looks up. He didn't dare look at the umpires and say, yeah, of course it was mine. Jim Kelly decided to stay long term as well, which is good news for the Eagles. It's a nice cut-off mark by Laird. Just keeps on keeping on, Rory Laird.
It's about the only area of the game that the Crows are on top of West Coast is the intercept marking. It's 7-1, so they can tidy that up. The key forwards at West Coast either read the ball better or the kicking just gets a little bit better, and that'll help a lot. 7-1 it is.
Pedler. Long into the pocket, flying over the top was Jimby, kills it. Third key defender role he's played all this year.
Big unit. Played in the midfield as well. He started in the
Started
first
there.
year.
Yeah, they give him the third tall every week at the moment. O'Brien tried to flick it to his team's advantage. Peatling, who started really well. Ricochet's out wide. Brock with composure. Baker tries to break the tackle of Neil Bull and he can't. And all that experience of a premiership player, he's happy just to casually see that over. He oozes leadership, Liam Baker. He's brought so much to this side this year. O'Brien straight down the throat of the captain, Dawson, gets it on his boot quickly. It's knocked away. Dawson goes in again. Pedler with a tackle. Ball up.
Thank you.
And the ruck just cuddling that Sharon.
Back to rally.
They tangle again. O'Brien only as far as Hoff.
Take the path clear.
Crowd of up to 40,000 expected in the house Sunday afternoon at the Adelaide Oval.
A bit of an early start here for them, but you got in late. Duggan meeting that sandwich quickly.
Got to leave the under-9s at half-time, Dwayne, just to get in.
Oh, hope you weren't coaching them, Roo.
I was at the magnet board. Gee.
I'm sure they got your point. I'm sure you're pretty direct with him in the under-9s, Ruth.
Don't move it.
Almost a strip. Williams tried to spin and go. Taylor gets it, gave it a hinge. Turnover. Crows on the rebound. Long, Phil Thorpe. Can't mark this one. Pedler was lurking at the back. Lays a tackle on Cole with a bit of help from Keys. Hunt hunted down. Bacon to mop up the mess. Little 1-2. Wobbles it out wide. A roll out of bounds to win. And unless the umpire says insufficient intent, which you couldn't surely.
We just saw
Crowd was
Baker's
screaming for it.
We just saw Baker's composure on the goal line there. He was really cool under pressure and able to get that exit.
Waiting at the back was Graham. Bangs it long. 2 are 1-on-1. One was long. He goes to ground. Hinge is going to accept the handball from Laird. Back they go, Keane. He's got plenty he can go to, and another foray forward across half back. Worrell's kick was a bit of a wobbler. Really had to make the captain work. He tried to take on 3. He couldn't in the end. Baker mops up, and again, they're looking to set up Cole. In 2 minds, eventually just goes long. Caught underneath it was Allen, and juggling the mark Butts in an old-fashioned 2-on-2 contest between the two big keys.
To Berry, to Curtin. All of those versatile Crows can play forward, can play back, play both this year. Rankin likewise, midfield or forward. Fogarty, 4 goals last week. Kept the Crows in that game against Collingwood. Knocked toward the boundary by Kimby, and he decided to keep it alive to his detriment. Cut off. Rankin, worst possible guy to give it to. But his arms free. Curtin with the strength. Saligo squeezed it wide. Fogarty. Dawson was clever, kept it in. Brock. Flynn. Plenty of numbers behind it, at least the Eagles to mop it up. And Harley Reid with a double grab says, I got it sorted, boys.
Couple of minutes to go. Oscar Allen's been swung back. This is Hutchinson. The wingman. Chance for Waterman. He'll leave it for Graham. Takes off, tries to find some space, curves it around beautifully. And just the man you want the Sharon in his hands, Liam Ryan.
We saw Graham put his hand in the air. I think he was trying to kick it to the top of the goal square. But Liam Ryan was that initial contest, and he saw Graham was winning the ball and got on the skates, coming up for his first possession of the game. Could be a really vital one in this quarter.
Doesn't need too many, does he, Sean, to hurt the opposition?
Flash boots, huh?
Can he convert with less than a minute on the clock? Just over a minute on the clock before quarter time. He can't, and he shakes his head in frustration. Crows by 6.
Yeah, hugely off there. Crows with a bit of a breeze in this opening term. Eagles would have been happy. It could have gone in at quarter time with only a point or so the difference. Hunt wobbles it, got it to the hot spot. Brilliant grab by Laird, winning a hand in defence. Good time enough, don't want to go here.
Well, there's that intercept mark again, Dwayne. 9-1. It's the area they've got to tidy up. West Coast kicking the ball inside 50.
50. Moved on the mark, did Williams. So Miller can send the Crows inside 50 with seconds left. Clock stops, now he goes. Hands it off. Rankin spanks it long. Dawson gets up. 2 in the square. Did float on them again with that breeze. Fooled a couple of them. Cole kept it alive. Pumps it back towards the wing. 30 seconds left. Waterman, great saving grab.
And he's happy to eat into the clock here. Take his time. Sends it high. Oh, Berry getting very high. Now it'll come back. Duggan, bouncing ball. Is there time to score here? Reed's got it. Handball's over his head and the siren just beats Kelly. It was a seesawing opening term here at Adelaide Oval, and the West Coast Eagles, fresh off their first victory for 2025, have come to play against the higher-ranked side, the Adelaide Crows. Crows win today, and they're into the top 4. At quarter time, it's Adelaide by 6 points.
Hey, good morning everybody. Football day again, can you believe it? We're going to love it. It's football day today, Sunday football. We've got an interesting game here. Of course, Adelaide Crows, 4-2-26, 3-2-20 the Eagles. Not a bad game so far. Hey, I think both teams are just feeling themselves out. There's nothing too much spectacular happening in this game at the moment. But it's, as you say, folks, it's a little bit closer than we probably would have anticipated. You know, that being said, West Coast Eagles did come off a pretty good win against St Kilda last week, winning that game by 28. So that is good signs for them. And, of course, if we have a look at Adelaide, they come off a 10-point loss to the mighty Magpies last week at the home ground of Adelaide Oval. They'll want to get the job done, but like Ella Rose said, yeah, we're going for West Coast because we don't want Adelaide to get up there too many wins, and we want to start and spread that top 8. That'd be nice. That would be nice. Hey, Walks and Play, welcome in. JJ. Ella Rose, how you doing? Life for Life's popped on in there. Good stuff. Ryan, Avery Rogue 1. Ryan, cheers, brother, for that super chat. Oh, you're the man. You're the man. Appreciate that, Squire. Hope you're getting out there having a nice walk today. Sunny day down here in Melbourne in 17 degrees. I think there's a little bit of breeze happening around there at Adelaide Oval today. Hey man, how you doing? Welcome in. That's popped on in there. B3, of course. There we go. B3, of course. Alex is in there. He's got his multi going. Good stuff. Of course, Addy G, Adrian Sports Channel. Shouty, how you going, brother? And of course, the manager's in the house. Kine, what's going on? What's going on? The famous Tina is in the house. Wow, that's like having royalty. Adelaide by 40 was your tip. Let's go my $5 bet on the Eagles. Hey, what price were the Eagles, by the way? I forgot to see the odds on the Eagles, but that would have been pretty long. I don't know, that would have had to have been about $5 or $6, wouldn't they? The Eagles for this game today. Shouting the famous host. Shut up. Not me famous, only you. And Adrian Sports Channel. Tina and Adrian Sports Channel. $10 or so. Holy moly. Oh, you go for the Bombers. Yeah, the Bombers. Well, yeah. Well, the Bombers did have a win. The Bombers did have a win Friday night football. Of course, the Bombers beat Richmond 81-58 on Friday evening. So that was good for the Bombers. Not a bad shout out. Cheers, Alex. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Hey, let's have a look at that ladder while you're talking. Or while we're talking, let's just turn the live ladder off at the moment and let's have a look where these two sides are. My gosh. Let's start with a look. Oh, hang on. There we go. I've got to scroll all the way down. There's the West Coast Eagles. I'll be glad when these names change back to their proper names so we can really read them. I'm just going to go by the colours. The Eagles, they've played 10, won 1, lost 9, but they come off a good victory. So they've got a bit of momentum. Hey, the last start winners, so you can't complain about that. If they win today, well, they'll still be in 18th position, but at least they'll have 2 wins. And of course, for Adelaide is sitting right here in 7th position on 24 points, 6 wins, 4 losses. If they happen to win today, well, let's just turn the live ladder on and we might see. There we go. They'll jump up into 4th position if they win today. Well, there you go. Wow, they'll jump up into 4th. Of course, Adelaide were one of those really good in-form teams early on in the season. Hey, I forgot to do the ins and outs. Let's do those. Sid Draper coming in and Lou Pedler. I'm going to get back down to the ground because they're about to bounce the ball. Going out, Luke Nankervis. Tex Taylor Walker comes out. Sid Draper is the sub. For the Eagles, Tyrell Dewar, Noah Long is in and out. Jamie Cripps, Matthew Owies, Tyrell Dewar is the sub there. For the Eagles, before I go any further, let's just have a look at the disposal count first off. Rory Laird is leading the way there with Mark Keane for Adelaide with 8 disposals. Of course, Liam Duggan on 8 also for the Eagles. Isaac Ranke expecting a big game from him today on 7. Tim Kelly, good to see him lift. He needs to lift and get a little bit of form back. And also I wanted to keep an eye and see how Harley Reid went today. Just the 5 touches in that opening term, 4 kicks, a handball, a marker clearance, and he kicked that snap over his shoulder from the goal square to hit that goal. Let me just push this down a little bit, just in case anyone's watching this on replay and they want to watch the stats. They can check all the stats out at quarter time, but I'm going to get back down to the ground in just a minute. If Adelaide win, Essendon might take over them. You never know. Eagles helping Freo out would be nice. There we go. Hey, let's just check out the goal scorers too. We've still got about 30 odd seconds. Jake the Mullet Man Waterman, he's kicked 1. Harley Reid kicked 1. Brady Hugh has kicked 1 for the Eagles. Phil Thorpe's on the board with Pedler, Peatling, and Jordan Dawson. Let's just go back to that ladder. Where's Freo? Freo here, Wallery up. There's Freo. There we go, down in there in 9th position. Yeah, they've just, Freo's all right. They've won 6, lost 5. They had a fantastic win yesterday over Port Adelaide. Of course, Freo's percentage on 105.6. That needs to lift up. You want a percentage of up around the teens, 1-teens. Above 110 would be sort of nice percentage you want to get. Because they're all reasonably high up there. But there you go, that's the ladder. And of course, as I said, if the West Coast can win, that's going to start, I think, in the next couple of weeks to start and separate at least some of the top 4 teams, quite possibly. All right, that's enough for me. Hey, let's get back down to the action. We're heading into the second quarter. Let's see Adelaide Crows by 6 points.
O'Brien to Rankin, Hoff right on his hammer. Oh, the fend off is good by Isaac. And then just buys some time. And seeds the kick backwards to Laird, the veteran. And they springboard from half back. Up the top, O'Brien, clever flick. Does it sit for Peatling? Baker's there. He'll always put his body on the line. Marrick hugs the boundary line. And Laird. A ping pong at the moment on that outer side. Comes to Rankin. Surrounded by Eagles. They're just trying to share it around here.
Well, they're doing so because of the pressure from West Coast at this stage. They're causing it, and they've caused a turnover.
They might have caused a turnover here. Gross curls it back in. Who's going to get on the end of it? Hinge with a little fumble, bearing down his Waterman, but Hinge. Can he hit a target? No, he can't. Hoff spills away of Reid. Off to Baker. The look-away handball might be good. Elijah Hewitt can finish it off for one of their best passages of play today. But it's not to be. Hangs it out to the right. Hewitt.
Well, that was the handball change we've been talking about, Roo. Instead of blazing away, being the best teammate you can be, which was their mantra last week, putting someone in a better position.
The West Coast box would be very happy at this stage, and Adelaide would be just getting a little bit twitchy in their chair.
Hutchinson competes well.
The other positive for West Coast, numerical advantage. As soon as that ball hits the ground, you can see them just swamping in numbers. So that contest there was 3 against 1. So Eagles are seriously coming here with a great mindset.
Yeah, and that's work rate, isn't it, Dicko? The ground ball gets so far 27-25. That's in favour of the West Coast.
Edlin tried to thread that handball through legs. Slight zephyr breeze blowing the Eagles' way in this second. Picture perfect here at the Adelaide Oval. Not a big breeze, perfect temperature, and the ground in magnificent nick. O'Brien, slick-handed. Saligo, good second grab. He flicked it up, but a few of his teammates got on the same page. Rankin always on the right page. Rolls it. Rochelle gets it inside 50. It's high. It's over Thilthorpe. Now, is there a free?
Yeah, push the Keys.
Pleads his case. Thilthorpe plays on a Keys from the goal line. Puts it into the Moreton Bay fix.
I think Keys was going to get the free anyway for a push in the back, but they took the advantage and got the goal, which is the most important thing for them. Let's have a look at the replay. Just worked so hard, Benny Keys. Benny Dixon spoke about it. There's the push from Jinby. Free was paid and they stopped there. Look at Marriage. He's not even in the contest. He was next to Keys. He stops and gives the umpire a spray instead of staying with Keys. If he did that, they would have went back and had to probably take the kick. That was the free there. He's right with him, but then he hears the whistle blow and stops and protests.
Benny Keys hasn't missed a game since his debut, Roo.
Yep, he's durable. He's an absolute pro, and that's why he's in the leadership group.
117th consecutive game. Just the 7 disposals last week, so he's trying to get more involved. Hewitt's been involved. Kelly. Flynn bangs it on the one-hander, beautiful Michaelani. Over Harley Reid as well.
There's that shallow entry again, Roo, and an intercept mark. They've got to get those entries deeper.
Very rarely loses one-on-one contest as Michaelani, but the kicks let him down, and a chance for them. The Eagles, Boss can't keep it in play.
Yeah, I reckon keep your eyes on Michaelani and Harley Reid. That'll be a great contest. Harley Reid is a star, we know that, but Max Michaelani is absolutely a star as well.
55 games versus 31 games. 2 players really growing in stature as Jinby plays a splendid tackle on O'Brien.
Didn't like players getting a kick, Michaelani, and Harley Reid will try and sit on his head, so we'll keep an eye on that one.
Harley coming off that 2-goal game last week in form. Brockman drop kicks it to Ryan. That'll do.
That's better be in front.
Ryan takes off. Oops. Keeps it low. It's probably not such a bad option. It didn't quite work, but sometimes launching it in the air to a team that's winning in the intercept mark game, not such a bad idea. Getting it low. O'Brien, he spears that line badly, and they're off. Rochelle, open space. Thilthorpe can turn and go. Sat it too high. Well, the head of Rankin, and the mark taken by Jinby saves the day.
Not dissimilar to what West Coast did in the first quarter there, just a bad kick and the intercept mark as a result.
Jinby going to take on Rankin, and having to trap it on the bounce was Hunt. Couldn't collect it.
Supporters just a little bit quiet. Maybe that's just a bit early for them in Adelaide. They're just a little bit worried about the scoreboard. Shawnee, what do you think?
They'll get a few more into them on the hill over there. They'll get quite vocal very soon.
Still recovering from the under-9 defeat, Roo.
Oh, did they lose? Dicko.
Tim Kelly burst through. Has been switched to half forward last couple of weeks, and the Marricks kick into space. Foot races on, tracking back is Worrell. Wheels around down the line. That'll be out of bounds on the full.
Already seen the intent or the method. West Coast from their first quarter to the second. Prepared to switch the ball, make the ground nice and big, so the wingers are keeping their width, which obviously puts Adelaide into defence mode.
Well, you're going to get a touch there for a second, Dicko. Marrick on the wing. To half forward. O'Brien's down there. Allen had a good piece of it and then lost it. Fed back onto it nicely. Handball to the feet though. Peddling. Sweeps it wide. Coming. Got some good inclusions that they've added this year, including Isaac Cumming, the Crows. Berry on the back pedal. Floats that, but that's way too wide as well. Although it floated back in on that breeze. Dicko was about to mark it. Pedler goes inside and he has turned it over. Mark taken by Brock.
He wants to go quickly. The delivery was good to Flynn. Now off to Brockman. Usually a great disposal by foot. Tracking back. Will it go all the way? It does! Brockman in Indigenous round with a little bit of magic in that long right boot of his.
Well, that was a pass to Allen. He was looking for Allen on the back run. Allen had read it really well once they'd got the turnover and the ball was kicked into the middle. But Brockman trying to be unselfish there. You can see Allen on the bottom of the screen running back to goal. And the wind is going that way, so the ball's going to carry a bit further.
Good bounce.
Great bounce.
Perfect bounce.
And that's what we're talking about. Speed kills. Get into the middle of the ground. That's the travelator right through the middle. Bang, quick hands and get the reward. But just an update. I know Roo mentioned it a couple of times in the first quarter. Swirly breeze. Heavy to the right of screen. So it's got to be a 2 or 3 goal breeze. And like you said, Dwayne, on this side of the boundary line, definitely kept that ball in.
You saw that sort of blowing down that end, right to left a bit as Reed takes off out of the middle. Thought about a few options, goes to Hunt. He can kick a long ball. 2 on 2. Waterman eats down a little. Hits the deck. Putts. Did pretty well. To Curtin. To Hinge. Keys. Wants to go. Hits this kick. They've got open space. Rankin holds it up and he decides that he's holding it up a second and then he turns it over. That's bizarre. They've turned it over quite a bit when they've wanted to go. Baker to set it up again.
So a few wobbly moments from the home side as Baker drives it long over the head of Flynn. Oscar with a huge tackle. Ball spills clear. Just comes out. Michael Annie's involved. Got to be careful here. Curtin tried to take on a few. Blazes away and it just lands in. Boundary throw in out of side.
Yeah, they're looking shaky here, Adelaide. They're making turnovers, but it is a lot to do with West Coast pressure as well. They're absolutely having a crack, but Adelaide not playing at the level that they would like to at this stage.
Crows kicked the first, and then it's been a real tug of war since then. West Coast Eagles yet to hit the front. Brockman. Graham shakes off one. Brute strength. Bangs it long. It'll spill the way of Butts. He loses it. Miller is there to help out. Now Worrell. Can he find a target? Cole. Going to take it on the bounce. Dodging, weaving, twisting, turning. He's spun Pedler in a 360 there. And Flynn drops it. Harley Reid at the drop. Miller is saying, you're not going anywhere, Harley.
So Flynn was looking straight into the sun there. So it's a beautiful day here in Adelaide. You can just see what great agility there. And they've got them on the back foot here at the moment, West Coast, with their pressure.
Boundary throw in the right forward pocket. Miller is asking the question, was it a throw? Crowd. Just a lull.
I expect Harley get on the move here. That last hit was for him on the boundary line.
The score here, Sean, will put the visitors in front for the first time today. O'Brien works his way in front. Here's Reid. Had it, lost it, had it, lost it. Spills the way of Worrell. Pedler, look out, Cole's got him wrapped up. It's a hot footy right now. Exiting kick by the Crows. Big spoil came from Brock from behind. Here's Rankin. Peatling into space. He better watch out, Berry. He's been taken high. He'll go back. And they can reset the Crows. Try and get some fluidity, movement forward.
Crowd can sense it. A little worried at the moment, the crowd. Rested Taylor Walker as Pedler goes to Thilthorpe. Wheels on that little Taylor Walker style arc, and that is splendid to Curtin, who's drifted forward, or maybe sent forward. And there's a high contact free as well.
Yeah, it'll be a free kick to Walker.
To
Time back
Taylor,
right.
Taylor, is it?
Taylor, rather. Sorry. You see Taylor and you think Walker, don't you? There is no Walker. There is one Taylor's out. Taylor Walker and the other Taylor's in.
Little Zach Taylor. Curtin had floated down from the wing. I think Dwayne might be out playing on the wing.
Is he better forward anyway, Roo?
Well, I think the Crows like him. We don't know where he's going to play yet. He's 197 centimetres. They're trying to work out if he's a wing, a mid, or a forward.
Yeah, he's
Or a back, for that matter.
huge future. Zach Taylor. Wow. A little nervous at the moment. Not just maybe the crowd, but the players themselves.
I have to say, Mini's done a great job in his enemy analysis of Adelaide. When they get the ball, they've got to slide outside. They're defending really well. They're outnumbering. They're happy to give the spare at stoppage to Adelaide, knowing full well they can set up the perimeter. So it's great coaching so far.
Andrew McQualter, first year coach of the Eagles. Hewitt, Kelly, Graham. Lovely move in traffic. Ryan Marks wants to go. He's so attacking. Hewitt, Ryan, dabs it inside 50. Had to get down low, did Jake Waterman. Couldn't quite take it. Comes out to Hutchinson, who will curl it around, and it's punched through from Curtin. Couldn't quite get there, Jack Hutchinson.
Jake Waterman, a bit slow to get up. Had a mouthful of turf in that one.
You told her to eat grass at quarter time.
Of course, Andrew McQualter celebrated his first win last week. 0-9, wins the 10th game. It could be a good omen, Dwayne. Damien Hardwick did exactly the same thing.
All right. There he is on screen. Did coach 7 wins when he coached Richmond for 13 games. So a few of those wins under his belt. But yes, first win as the Eagles coach. They're in this up to their eyeballs at the moment. The Eagles, speaking of eyeballs, how's that coming? Grabbed by him. And 50. Descent. Haven't had too many descent 50s this season. They certainly wound that right back as to what is and what isn't descent. But there's still a couple of words in the vocab that are 100% dissenters. And maybe one of those was thrown out. Michaelani takes off. Miller. They do need a nerve settler, the Crows. Curtin again drifting to half forward. Miller found some space where there wasn't a lot. Big O! O'Brien drifts forward. Doesn't do it a lot. But with Tex not there, maybe that gives him the opportunity to do it a bit more.
You got your money on him, Dwayne?
Absolutely. Put it in the book. Hasn't kicked one this year. 14 goals only in his 132-game career. Been a while.
You on, Dicko?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, he's putting this into the church.
Straight through. We'll probably go back to Isaac Rankin and back to Ollie Thornthorpe. So you've been up to play down there all the time. It's not that hard. Just kick it through the sticks.
We saw Miller is kicking to the forward line in the first quarter to Peatling. That's just as good to a ruckman's favoured side. Give him the ball kicking inside 50. You've got to retain possession.
Sean, he's so unselfish, Wayne Miller, isn't he? He had it twice there for the kick inside 50. Not once did he look to go for goal.
He's just trying to do the team thing, isn't he? Put someone in a better position, closer to goal. Elite kicking skills. Full show there.
12-5 inside 50. Still West Coast having plenty of the ball.
Bill Thorpe in the ruck. Gets it down to Berry. And again, an intercepting mark taken this time by the co-captain, Duggan. Launches to the arc. Going at it with one hand was Williams. Here's Ryan. Flashes through from 50. And there is that swirly breeze. Hangs up to the right.
Once again, just great numbers to the drop of that ball. It was 4v2 West Coast favour. So Liam Ryan gets the crumb in that one, but they're just outnumbering them at contest.
Rochelle. And like Riley O'Brien was dropped last year by Matthew Nix. Riley O'Brien had a little stint in the sandful. Same to Josh Rochelle. Just got a reset from his coach. There is Matthew Nix. 6th season as coach for Matthew Nix. Yet to make finals. But this might be the season. Top 4 tonight if they win this one.
Well, we said Mini McWalter went 0-9. Of course, Matthew Nix famously went 0-13 in his first year. But he's built them up and he's set them up here, and they are getting challenged. Marek, he skirts the perimeter, and this is Hutchinson. The winger. He's going to pop it up high. Ask the big keys to run and jump and launch at ground level. It's Oscar. Here's a chance for Long. Can he keep it in? He can't.
Like I said, Andrew McWalter, hats off. He's coached extremely well in a quarter and a half of football. He's got them defending really well, spreading, making Adelaide, which hasn't been a strength of theirs to defend, but he's making them defend today.
Every time the Crows edge clear, the Eagles are able to respond. That was nice by Thilthorpe. Oh, spin by Elijah. And the snap, it's coming back. It'll be a free kick going the way of the Crows.
Gee, they are a whisker away from being in front here, the West Coast Eagles. Could have easily been a goal to them.
Gawana and Wallach Murrowa in Indigenous round, these two sides.
Did nothing in that free kick either.
No. Thilthorpe too big and strong over Edwards. Doing some damage, but a long way from home. To a 2-on-2. Spoil from behind was Brock.
That one wasn't it?
Yep, absolutely. And it'll be a free kick to Neil Bullen. Little scuffle between Dawson and Cole off the ball. Margin 9 points. Still plenty to play in this second term after Adelaide led by 6 at quarter time. Oh, there's the knee to the head. Youch. Cole. And getting underneath, caught underneath it is Fogarty. So it's a mark taken by Brock. Sandy Brock coming into this side. He's an amazing story, Dwayne, and having a couple of good games.
Yeah, on the Suns list for 3 seasons. Didn't get a game for the Suns. Sandy Brock's been a good pickup. Game 5 now for him. Williams, Cole, and they switch. Jinby can get and go. Well, he's got to get first and then he can go. He still hasn't got, but he got by Rankin. Rankin claims it was his free, but Jinby knew what was what. Rankin nearly clipped him with the flyby, and enough pressure on the kick for Berry to take the intercept mark, and they've been doing that all afternoon. The Adelaide Crows led. Miller, not the required. Ryan comes at him. Back to Laird. Gee, and he turns that over. Kelly, he's got the target in the pocket. Allen was there for him. Or just eluded cross, and now he's hunted. Team gone.
So making some mistakes, Adelaide. Absolutely making mistakes, and it is a little bit of the pressure, but they're just taking kicks that aren't on at the moment.
Poor old Tommy Gross, he's the teenager that had to deal with a lot last fortnight after that run-down tackle at the G. And he went to go again. He thought of the give-off to Ryan, then he said, "No, I'm going to take you on."
I reckon Ryan will just have a word to him, say, next time, young fella, just give me the handball and let me take care of the goals.
Alex Neil Bullen, the doctors have assessed that incident down here on the boundary line. He's definitely rubbed his 3KZ a few times, but he's been given the all clear.
It's good after the knee to the head, the knee of Cole. So Flynn, stolen by Curtin. Long ball in front, Dawson.
Rankin's got space.
And the skipper find him, and he puts it out in front of space. Now the rock star from the Adelaide Oval, an unkind bounce. He's going to have to go back and win it. He's forced to tackle Jinby. Jinby does really well in that situation. It's going to come back quickly though. Curtin, great composure, presence of mind to hit up Rochelle.
Probably too far out though. He needs to have a bit of urgency here, Rochelle. This will be right on the edge of his distance.
And kicking into that wind as well, that's going to hold it up. He's shaping up like he's going to make the distance.
It is, isn't it? He's got the confidence, but he's got swagger and confidence always.
Look at the flags behind the goals, Roo.
He just
Look, he knows, but you're going to make out you're going to kick even if you are going to pass.
he just tossed the grass up to see the wind and went back into his mouth.
Rochelle, kick 5 on debut here. And he says, of course I've got it. I've got swagger, baby. How dare you doubt me, Roo?
Well, he absolutely milled that. You could see the way it come off the boot. Couldn't have hit it any sweeter. The wind didn't even come into play. He just punched it hard and went straight through the eye little.
He proved that's all wrong, didn't he? Those flags behind the goals are blowing very, very heavily.
And Kurt doing some good work. Dicko, that's 2 players now that have eaten grass since you told him at quarter time. 1 unintentionally, or 2 unintentionally, but
If it works for Matty Rao, it works for anyone.
there's grass eaters everywhere.
That's escalated quickly. 15-point margin now, biggest margin of the game for the Crows. In the scramble, Graham goes down low, Petling just as low and brilliant. To Berry, puts the speed on, gets inside 50, crushed forward, but not really killed. Hit to a terrible spot by Jibby. Duggan trying to squeeze that through the traffic. Rankin, Newbullen, clever, slick handoff to Isaac. Can't bend it around enough, but they found a gear. Well, the Crows.
It's a little bit of a danger period. There's 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. West Coast have been equally as good as Adelaide for the game so far. Just haven't been able to put it on the scoreboard. Adelaide, during the week, have talked about goals against in time on. Well, that'd be the ones that want to put a couple of goals on the board here late in the second.
It's the red time that really hurt them as Dawson leaps up and takes a lovely mark. The red time 6. They conceded 6 goals on them to the Pies last week in the last 3 minutes of the quarters. So Mark Rashido's bang on there. It's been Matthew Nix's main issue this week as Cumming looks to hit up. Rochelle bursting out. That was tough from Duggan. Pick the last 2, the Crows. It is the biggest lead of the afternoon after leading by 6 at quarter time. The margin now 16.
Watch out for Rochelle and Rankin here on the move.
Spinning back into the heart of the 50. O'Brien tried to get it down to Rankin, who flashed past and missed it. On his lethal left, though, is the skipper, Dawson. Phil Thorpe. Not paid. Yes. It is paid.
Paid, but a very tricky kick to come with a little bit of left to right breeze. He's going to try and bend it around and make it a bit easier.
He's going to set snap.
It's like he's kicking with an under-9s ball. His hands are that big.
What happened to those under-9s, Roo? Did they win?
Yeah, I can't find out at the moment. I'm concentrating here, but
You're
I'll get half time. I'll find it out.
Good. Can he get enough curl on it? Too much curl, in fact. He can't work it back expertly through those 2 big sticks. So the Crows by 17, 3 to play before half-time.
Not meant to keep scoring under 9s anyway, Kelly. It's just participation.
They know, don't they, Ruth? They know.
They know everything.
Long kick, huge 3 minutes coming up to half-time. Ball knocked down by Hewitt. Flynn through the traffic. Rockman in the scramble. Graham flings it back to the umpire. Mentioned Jack Graham, number 2. The tackles this year. Atkins of the Cats, 108. Graham, 78. Big difference between first and second. 31 tackle difference. That's how many Tom Atkins has had as that's tackled across the line for a ball in. Eagles starting to get a few numbers back in their favour. Don't have a possession winner in the AFL's top 50 coming into this. Don't have a clearance player in the AFL's top 70. The Eagles trying to get a clearance here. While Reid spending more time in the middle as opposed to early in the season being in defence a bit. Scramble kick marked by Laird. 2.5 minutes left. Do they want to take it on in the bright sunshine? Wide to Bucks instead.
Pumps it long. Pack flies. They almost stole it off each other then. Hurried kick inside 50. Duggan's got it. And collecting him is Rochelle. Bit of feeling in this now. Crowd getting more involved. O'Brien up over the top, only as far as Jimby. A one-on-one. Laird makes sure it's going to stay in. Long can't get clear. So, Long one of two inclusions for the Eagles this week. They lost Jamie Cripps to injury and Owies to injury as well after that win. Peatling, tackled by Hunt, spills clear. Crows with the numbers. Saligo on the left. Rankin's there. Jimby's in front. Cole comes in to help. Jimby, a little clever tap. Should sit here for Brock. He'll look for the safety of the boundary line. His acting was pretty good, Dwayne.
Oh, the bump off. Neil Pullen was superb. That was very clever. Just a little bumper bar.
For a player in his 5th game. O'Brien, beautiful to Cumming, but he's caught by Reid.
West Coast just have to hold on here. They don't want to concede a late goal. It's already 3-3 to 1-4 this quarter, and they've dominated the inside 50s.
Peatling, Cumming. Two former Giants combined. They kick to a 2-on-1. The one is still Thorpe, and he wins the free. He was the meat in the sandwich room.
Yeah, look, that's just panic by Edwards that they were trying to keep him out because they had their player in front. Couldn't see who it was, but they just didn't need to do it. But that's what happens sometimes when you got a big monster like Riley Thilthorpe.
Didn't want them West Coast to concede a red time goal. That's exactly what happens.
1-2 this afternoon in the swirly breeze. Goalless last week at the G for the first time. Can he steady? And it's 3 goals in a row to the Crows on the verge of half-time, and they've opened up the first real gap in this contest.
Well, Thilthorpe's the one that's posing a few troubles for them in there. Darcy Fogarty has been super quiet so far, but Thilthorpe's the one. Let's just have a look here. Edwards has got his arms wrapped around him, just didn't need to. He was trying to protect his captain, Oscar Allen, but if you want to protect him, you've got to get in between them. Taking the 5 marks. Riley Thilthorpe kicked 2 goals too. It looks like a very dangerous play. It looks like he could kick a bag.
It does. Well, when you're as big as he is, you're 200 centimetres. What's he, probably 105 kilos. Doesn't have the weight written down here, but he'd be around that mark. It gets defenders very nervous.
Don't upset people and give that weight away. From the scramble, well, Harley Reid held up. Again, they just can't get enough clearances. The Eagles at the moment. They've got Harley Reid in there trying to steal one from this. Dawson's on the ball now after spending most of the first half as a forward. Wide roller. Good attack from Brock. And they steal a late one here. Laird. Worrell. We stepped into trouble. That's gone. Waterman wrapped him up, and Waterman can have the last say of the half. And with this breeze maybe feeding back to the goal mouth, he's a chance from here.
It's an easier kick than usual. Worrell tried to sell the putt. Waterman was having nothing of it and got him stone cold. Just a little bit of right to left. Meter inside the right post.
Siren sounds for half-time. Jake Waterman has got 1 so far. 15-9 for the year. Pretty accurate kick overall. 147-79 career. This is within his repertoire. Crowd give him a ball or two. It's important for their confidence. He struck it well. He has struck that magnificently. Perfect finish for the Eagles for the opening half. They won't take the lead in at half-time, but they'll take some confidence in after that. They are in this one up to their eyeballs after winning last week against the Saints by 28 points. And the crowd knows they're giving the Crows a run for their money. Even though the Crows win this game at top 14. 8-5-53 to 5-6-36 with a half still to play. And bright sunshine at the Adelaide Oval as we head down to Ben Dixon.
Benny, cracking first half. Sum that up as a player and what you've seen out there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good contest. Thought West Coast front half defence is pretty good, so probably a few too many turnovers for us in that part of the ground, so I want to get it down our end of ground, lock it in there.
Coming in here, what was their biggest threat that you needed to take care of, the Eagles?
Yeah, we thought their press game's actually really good. Their handball game as well, I like to link up and run. They've gotten really good at that, so we could try to shut that down.
Tell us how tricky this wind is.
A little bit tricky, a little bit swirly, probably not favouring any end of the ground, but yeah, a bit deceiving. It's sort of swirling around, so yeah, it's not as crisp as probably usually is out here.
Appreciate your time, mate.
Thanks, Dick, I appreciate it.
17 points the margin, and if that breeze does strengthen, the Eagles will finish the game with it in the last quarter. Great to have your company at the Adelaide Oval as Sir Doug Nicholls' round continues. Second half, not far away.
All right, there we go. It's half time. We'll be back with the commentators not too far away. There we go. Adelaide, 8-5-53. Eagles, 5-6-36. To tell you what is that? 17-point lead to the Eagles. To tell you what, in that quarter, if you're watching it like I'm watching it, what do you think? I thought West Coast Eagles, they had plenty of chances in that quarter. I thought they had plenty of chances, and the commentator said they probably should have been in front. Adelaide defence held up well, but I'll tell you what, the West Coast Eagles, they just didn't look like they were creating space. And luckily, Waterman, the mullet man, got that final goal on the siren. West Coast were pressing a fair bit in that. And then you get Adelaide, they just stroll down the ground and there's like vacant land everywhere. And they get a snare a couple of goals. There we go, 4 goals, 3 Adelaide put on in that term. Eagles, 2 goals, 4. But interesting game. I tell you what, there's no. I don't think either team really has lifted to their peak in this game. It's still like they're just a little bit like going through the motions in this game. It's what team wants this game the most may be the team that actually gets it. But I'd like to see West Coast Eagles when they're going forward, just have a little bit more composure. And as I say, get the forwards working for each other, create the space, and let the forwards do their work. Waterman's pretty good one-on-one, so yeah, I think they maybe he should be their main target down there today. But an interesting, fascinating game. Adelaide certainly not having it their own way. I think West Coast have done pretty well. They've pressed a lot in this game, and For me, I think West Coast have been on top a lot of this game. It's just that the Eagles, it's just that Adelaide, I should say, they can sometimes be allowed to get out of the back line too easy and just run open into an open forward. And Thilthorpe sort of come along pretty good in that second term as well. Have you ever been pegged? What? Hey, going back to Essendon, I think it was 2004 since they last won their final. I'm pretty sure that's what I read, saw, and you always hear about the Bombers come finals time. Can they win? They haven't won one in 20 odd years or so, but there we go. Let's hope that West Coast can put on the first couple of goals in this third term. Coming up in 15 minutes' time. Let's hope they can get back. Hey, a good game is a close game. And don't forget, coming up after this game, we're going to the Melbourne-Sydney game. Of course, that starts in an hour's time, so we'll probably get the last 3 quarters of that game in. That should be a ring-a-ding-ding game as well. All right, let's go and have a look at some of the goal scorers. Let me see. That's loaded right up. There we go. Jake, the mullet, Waterman, he's got 2 for the West Coast Eagles. Harley Reid, Alex, you're right. I tell you what, I don't know why they've got such big raps on this guy, Harley Reid. For me, he never does much in a game. He busts through some packs, he tries to and whatnot, and you're right, his attitude is, he's got a big attitude out there, that is for sure. His attitude is a little bit like well, a little bit like Toby Green used to be, but Toby Green certainly settled down. He was fantastic yesterday, so hopefully he can settle down. Whether he's a star in a good team, I'm not sure. I still haven't seen enough good things from him, even in the Eagles side. You would think he would sort of, shine in the West Coast Eagles side. Brad Hughes got a goal, and Tyler Brockman for the Eagles. For Adelaide, Riley Thilthorpe got a couple. Rochelle Pedler, Peatling, O'Brien, Keys, and Dawson have got the other singles, the other single goals. That is at the MCG, Sydney and Melbourne. Melbourne versus Sydney. Hey, we'll come back to have a look at the disposal getters in a minute. Let's just head back to the commentators.
I'm saying, come on, boys, this is not how we want to play, and they did respond. But West Coast have been good so far in the contest.
They certainly have. So, in terms of Mark Keane, we know the 9 intercept possessions marks in the first quarter, but he's played a pivotal part.
He did. Well, he got the ball rolling for Adelaide in that first quarter. He controlled the air. He played in front. He played behind. He knows when to be with his opponent and make body contact and release. And then he just looks to do the easy thing. And if he can get to do that more often, they'll be a better team. But he's just controlling the air.
The inside 50s route, I mentioned, you got to eat the grass up West Coast. You got to take that ground before you get it in and make sure it's an effective entry inside 50, but they have certainly got their nose in front in that work.
Yeah, absolutely they have. They're having a genuine crack, and if they can just convert that to the scoreboard, then we have got a really tight contest in the last quarter. Adelaide they haven't quite been using the ball the way they would like so far in this contest.
Silk, it's an easy fix, isn't it, in terms of West Coast? They get inside 50, make sure they make the most of those opportunities.
Well, they do. In the first quarter, they were using it by hand, getting it in dangerous positions and getting a longer entries. In that quarter, they weren't.
Well, after this, and the final game of round 11 is the Saints and the Suns, and we're going to get to Eddie Betts next about the Eddie Betts Foundation.
All right, let's get back to some of these stats. Nice music. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the music on here. Always gives you copyright. There we go. Is Oscar Allen playing unsighted? Yeah, well, let's go and have a look at some of the stats, and we'll see. Yeah, you're right. I actually haven't. I don't know whether I've actually heard his name, but the lineup. It hasn't. Hang on, where is he? Well, Oscar Allen's there. He's forward. He's in the. He's in the lineup. Let's go down. We'll have a look and see what stats. I can't even remember his name being called. Disposal getters. Roy Laird out there is top of the table for Adelaide. Sam Berry both on 15. There we go, not too bad. Isaac Ranke, 13. He's just having a relaxing day out there. Jordan Dawson, 13. Liam Duggan, best for the Eagles, on 12. Tim Kelly, next best for the Eagles, on 11. Wayne Miller on 11 also for the Crows. Riley Thilthorpe, as we were saying, it was a good quarter there from Riley Thilthorpe. 10 touches, 9 kicks. He's had a mark, five marks. 3 tackles, 6 hit-outs, 1 clearance, 2 goals too, so he's going quite well out there. Let's have a look and see if we can find him. Rochelle's on 8 at the moment, just with the 1 goal. Liam Baker, I'd like to see him up and running a bit more. He's had 8. There's Harley Reid's stats. Harley Reid's had 7 touches, just the 4 kicks, 3 handballs, 1 mark, a tackle, a clearance, and a goal in that opening term. Who has no disposals? We'll head on down. Forward ruck maybe. Let's keep on rolling down. I still haven't seen him. There we go. There's Oscar Allen right down there. I tell you what, here's a player. I like this player, Liam Ryan, there for the West Coast. He's a little bit electric. I tell you what, I'd love to see, I don't know, maybe they need to stick him on ball or get him around the action a bit more. But he can be quite dangerous when he's on song. Well, he's only had the 5 touches, 4 kicks. He's kicked 2 behinds. Oscar Allen, there he is. Oscar Allen, he's just had the 5 touches so far for the opening half. 2 kicks, 3 handballs, a mark, 2 tackles, and a hit out. So that's all. So he's having a quiet day. He's the captain, isn't he, Oscar Allen? Jake Waterman. Tell you what, get it to Jake Waterman, the mullet man. Look at that, 3 possessions only, but he's had 3 kicks. 3 kicks, 2 goals. A couple of marks and a tackle also. He laid that tackle late. In that second term, which resulted in getting the free kick and goal. No possessions, Sid Draper and Tyrell Dewar, but I think they are the subs, so every player on the ground at the moment has had possessions. Darcy Fogarty, someone was saying go Darcy before. He's only had the 2 touches, 1 kick, 1 handball, 1 mark, 2 tackles. That's all he's had so far. Wowee. All right, let's have a little bit of a look at the disposals. And, of course, Adelaide, they're on season average 189 up until half-time. Eagles well under there, 140. They need to lift. They need to... Look, you know, the Eagles are doing pretty good. I think, as Alex was saying, just their class and skill is just lacking. It's just lacking in their composure, especially going inside forward 50. I think last week when the team was on song, everyone was up and about. I know it was an emotional with the Selwood boy passing on for the Eagles and they wanted to get the job done there. But you got to bring that intensity, that want each week when you're playing AFL football. The Eagles, they're bringing some of that today, but they just need to tidy up a few things. But there we go. Adelaide plus 49 in the count, starting to get out a little bit. What's that? 32, 38. My God, my maths are 40, 38. There we go. 38 kicks plus to Adelaide and the 11 kicks. As I said, West Coast Eagles, they're having plenty of chances. If we have a look, 28 inside 50s for 13 scoring shots for the Crows. Not too bad. They're going above season average, but if you have a look, West Coast Eagles, as I was saying, they're getting plenty of opportunities. They were pressing well. 31 inside 50s, but only 11 scoring shots and only 5 goals from that. So they need to lift that area up. Mind you, 45.8 is their season average inside 50s, so that's pretty low inside 50s for a team. But 31 already. They're getting the opportunity. They're just not capitalising on their efforts. Disposal efficiency, well, it's down a bit for both teams. They're at 68, 67. Efficiency inside 50, look at that. They're getting their chances, 29%. That's well down. They need to be definitely more efficient going inside 50 is the Eagles. Tough for the subs out there. I know. Ryan is a bit past it. As his main still doesn't dominate. No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. I know it's like spits and spurts. He gets in and around it, and that's it. Free kicks, of course. Well, the home team, 13-8 plus 5 there. Tell you what, the umpires are a bit ticky-touch. Some of those ones where they just put the hand around the mid-drift and they call a free kick. I mean, come on. That happens 1,000 times during a game, like on the wing or, you know, around the centre, and they don't pay them. What's the difference? Free kick's a free kick. It should be paid. So I don't know why they pay these ticky-touch free kicks to the forwards all the time. Come on, umpires. Let the game play. Let it roll. That's what we like. That's why we like Yusufi Edits. How you going? I'm Turkish. How you going? Where this is the best game in the world here. Australian football from Australia. Welcome in. Good to see you. The hit-outs, Adelaide dominating there. 30-14. Makes it hard for the Eagles to get their hand on the ball, especially if the ruckman for Adelaide are doing a good job. Clearances, the clearances plus 6 to the Crows. Centre clearances, Eagles doing pretty well there, 6 apiece. Stoppage clearances need to clean that up as well. There we go. Hang on, what are they talking about?
To get down to the big smoke? No, not really. And it's for me, that's my passion, and a lot of these kids don't.
Just Eddie Betts. We'll head back down there in a moment. There we go. Contested possession. Both teams contesting pretty good. Adelaide just finding a little bit more space out there. Plus 32 uncontested. Turnover game. They're both turning it over a little bit. Not too bad. Adelaide, as I said, finding the space a little bit more. Getting those plus 27 in the marks inside 50. Both teams need to lift there 4-3. They just need to create a little bit more space. Adelaide created a little bit more space. They were pretty good on occasions having open ground down there. But they haven't got in there as much as West Coast, of course. West Coast really need to work on that forward fit. This is the area that certainly... it's letting West Coast down in today's game. Tackle count, well, 39-30 plus 9 to Crows. And, of course, Crows bringing a lot more pressure inside their forward 50. 12 already above their season average of 8.8. There we go. And as you can see, the Eagles, their season average is only 9. That needs to lift. They need to bring pressure. That's what some of the good teams do. They put the pressure inside their forward 50, so the opposition can't just keep on getting away with it. There we go. Put it back to the score. We're 4 minutes away. Shane Underwood is commentating. Can't watch the game. I know. Yeah, I know. Look, I prefer some of the other commentators. Chills said, hi, how you going, Chills? What's going on? Welcome in. Good to see you. We've got a couple more games coming up after this one. If you want to like listening into the football, we're always doing the football each week. So that is fantastic. Got a good bunch of people in the live chat. You can always have a good chat about footy and everything if you want there. So that is great. But look, we all have our favourite commentators who we like commentating the game. I don't mind the KO commentators or the Fox commentators, which we get some of the times, like Brownie and Buckley and some of the other good commentators there. I'm not sure who will be commentating the next game, but maybe these are just the commentators, the Adelaide commentators, quite possibly do the lesser games or so. I'm not 100% sure. It'd be nice to have a list on who is commentating the games pre-game, but it should be interesting. The next couple, I think they should be reasonable commentators when Melbourne take on Sydney. So as soon as this game ends, we'll head on over to that game. And of course, we'll get the second half of the final game of round 11 here for you. That'll be St Kilda, the Gold Coast Suns. That'll be an interesting match. That's a game that I'll be hoping St Kilda win. And I think a lot of the teams in the top 8 will be hoping. If I just head back to that ladder, St Kilda's down here, so they're still a couple of games out of the 8. Whereas the Gold Coast Suns, look at that. Can you imagine? They're only 2 games off top. And they still have a game in hand. Remember, they've only played 9, and other teams have played 11. Them Gold Coast, the one good thing, Ella Rose, for the Bombers, even though they're 24 points, they're out of the 8 by percentage. They've still got a game in hand to play because remember, it was Essendon and the Gold Coast Suns. I think it was opening round. They couldn't play that game due to the cyclone up there in Queensland. So they've still got to play that extra game. That'll be fascinating. I haven't heard when they're going to play that game yet. And if anyone's got any idea or anyone's heard when they're going to play that other one, let us know, because that's always interesting. Let me just turn the live ladder on at the moment. So we turn the live ladder on at the moment. That's how it sits. 124.8% Adelaide. They'll jump up into 4th position. Of course, about 7.2% behind the Gold Coast. Look, most teams, I know I'm getting off this game, but I think most people would probably tip Gold Coast Suns to win the game today, but travelling, and of course St Kilda, coming off that loss against West Coast last week, they'll be wanting to rebound, and I'm sure the coach will be... he'll definitely be pointing a few things out, and especially being played at Marvel Stadium. St Kilda play Marvel Stadium pretty well. So most people I think will be hoping the St Kilda can win that one. Who do I go for? I go for Collingwood. Round 24, 99%. The nails on a chalkboard. Roo is just as bad. Oh, Roo. Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I forget the other commentator's name doing it today, but he's not too bad. But yeah, ruin the... I know. Look, that's the commentators. Unfortunately, we can't choose them. You know, I use these commentators because I actually watch the game as we're doing this as well. But most of the time, the commentators are pretty good. Anyway... that's enough of me for chit-chatting. You can continue chit-chatting in the chat. That's fantastic. Hey, don't forget, if you haven't put your vote in, who's going to win this game, make sure you do. We've got the poll going. 76% so far are going for Adelaide Crows, 24% for the West Coast Eagles. Come on, Eagles, let's go. Let's get a couple of goals. Let's get 2 to 3 goals in this opening third term and make it a tight game. All right, let's get back down to the ground for the second half.
Get a chance here if they can steal this one to be at home and slowly think about getting themselves up the ladder.
Love the way that they've come into this one. 7 players hadn't sung the song last week, but they've been spirited and they've been energised. Can they continue it into the second half? O'Brien, here's Reid trapping it with Dawson on one side and Dawson wrapping him up.
So Adelaide got all their stars in the middle of the start of the third quarter.
Jordan Dawson, 13 disposals and a goal so far. Here he goes again, another disposal. Little handball being trapped by Michael Lanny and going to ground was Rochelle. Ball eventually over the boundary line. I think the emotions of last week would really have taken a toll, or you could understand if they did take a toll on the West Coast Eagles. But right off the bat, brought the work rate. It's been great to see. Brockman, Graham, strength in the hips to hold that tackle up. Give it to Brockman. He's spun around. Graham will go again. In the end, Michael Annie wins out in a one-on-one. Phil Thorpe backing back bravely was Jimby. How brave was that? He knew he had to go and he did.
Yeah, that was a cracker. You thought was coming. Doesn't seem like a player who cares who's coming, does he?
Dawson, a chance. Flynn nearly stole it off hands. O'Brien had a good first half. Dawson dragged down, going nowhere, and holding the ball. So spent most of the first half forward, on the ball now.
The machine got him.
Harry sends it in the... Well, that's a brilliant pass in the end of Williams. I think it was intended for Williams, but the seas kind of parted for him to run through and take a good grab. They could get 2 goals in a row either side of half-time, the Eagles.
It was good mark, wasn't it? Because it was just going to skim the pair of players in front of him, so you don't know whether it's going to carry to you or not. So he judged it really well.
Checks to see if it's a right-hander or a left-hander, the ball. Malcolm Blight style. Kicked a couple last week. This to keep the momentum the Eagles' way. Does a lot in the air. It's gone both ways. They have a laugh about it.
And that is a highlight for everyone sitting back on their couch watching this on a screen. Just goes to show how swirly and tricky this breeze is. 8-5 plays 5-7.
Oh.
King.
Bum punt.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it. Berry. They still might get out of strife here. Back to Berry. Oh, he looks one way, wants to go the other. Neil Bullen. Curtin. He's got space and time and can't execute the kick. It might stay in for Rankin. Rankin says, I'll take on the tackling machine. He breaks the tackle of Graham. He kicks over the head of Fogarty, and they've made a meal of it again, the Adelaide Crows.
Rankin's really angry with himself. Behind play. Missed that easy opportunity there to Fog. His player laid off defensively. He's all by himself.
Yeah, he's been well held today. He's only had the 2 disposals, Darcy Fogarty by Sandy Brock.
Sandy Brock's opponent the last 3 weeks has not kicked a goal.
Yeah. It's been incredible. He's only played a handful of games in the AFL. Oh, that handball wasn't a great one outside of the boot with Saligo. Jimby's there. There he is. Brock. Brilliant again. Flying and launching, unable to take the mark. And it'll be a free kick out of Laird. So the Crows can go again, but they haven't got their confidence levels bubbling yet.
Well, they might have to check that ball after half-time. It's like one of those plastic balls from the service station.
Well, Laird's in a really good position there. Instead of Worrell wrapping boundary side on his left, he should be coming back inside to open up the field for the forwards.
Just scrappy by the home team, isn't it? The crowd, you can feel the lull and the frustrations of this crowd. They're yet to really roar.
Oh, the wind is just so tricky. It's like a wheat silo. It's just going round and round.
So the Flyers go up. Waterman front spot hits the deck. I mean, content to see it out. Lairds had 16 possessions for the game for the Crows. Leeds all comers at the moment.
Just back to the Sandy Brock quickly with Fogarty. He's done such a good job, but he's so physical before the ball gets there. So no wonder no one's kicked a goal on him in recent weeks. He's just playing a beautiful role at the moment.
Fogarty was lucky not to get holding the ball against him as well. That last one that he jumped on us. Reed's jumped on long. Little 1-2. That works okay until he's caught. Zig, but he should have zagged and he's gone. So Keys thinks about the pop inside. Goes a little low. That'll do. Here's the front on cue. Just been talking about him. Had a lean first half, a one kick opening half. Been well held and almost as if he knew we were talking about him. So if anyone can kick this ball in this wind that's straight, it's Darcy Fogarty.
25-4.
That tells you the story. They either need to check the ball or work out what's going on, because he is the best sharpshooter in the land.
Well, you can see just how careful he was at placing it on the boot, because it's really blustery ground level.
Marrick goes straight down the corridor. Jimby was the target. Overrunning it was Berry. Lovely little pick up to Kelly. Long. Good looper to Hewitt. Wants to go longer and stronger to Reed. Reed is going to fake. Come back inboard. Almost thought about going all the way home, and then he's able to hit up Ryan in the pocket. He put it on a platter for Liam Ryan in that pocket.
Well, that was outstanding work rate by Reed there. He came from the middle of the oval. When Kelly went lateral, he got on his bike and pushed hard forward. That's how you get your uncontested possessions.
This kick's going to be a little bit trickier because it's blowing from that end of the ground, so it'd be very hard for a drop punt. He's still tossing up whether he's going to try and banana it or drop punt it.
Only the very best could thread it from here. Eddie Betts used to be able to do it, but in this blustery wind, Liam Ryan's hit the point post, and it'll be an Adelaide Crows ball.
Michael Lenny. Baker went with the fist, not a bad option. To drop into a high one there, Neil Bullen. That was a clever attempt to get a high, but the umpire was wise to it, as was the tackler. Flynn O'Brien into the shadows, down towards Brockman. Been pretty good, trying to sweep it through his legs and get it and go. Keatling, who's the number one clearance player in the game so far with 5 of them, wins this free. He's been good in the middle. Keatling to Hinge, who pumps it. 2-on-2. Fogarty got there late. Dumped it away almost from Phil Thorpe. Keys running the wrong way. Cole gone. No.
Oh, wow.
Usually they pay that even if you are out straight away. They usually pay that one holding the ball.
Wow.
That was right in front of me. That was holding the ball any day of the week.
Rucks tangle again. Graham flicks it out. Reed. Hewitt. Under pressure, getting down low. Allen couldn't quite claim it. Hinge, clean. Saligo had to go. Hip and shoulder came from Graham. Fumble City. Neil Bullen gathers. Hinge. Wants to kick it on that left. Hangs it out. It opens the door. But Michael Annie was up to the task. He had to really stand his ground, and then he goes and curtain marks right on 50. Wants to give it off. Oh, he's missed Berry by a mile. Baker's off to the races. Brilliant rundown tackle by Pedler. It'll come back here for the Crows. Miller has got nowhere to go. He handballed straight to Worrell, who's in trouble. Back to Miller. Somehow they get themselves out of a sticky situation, and Keys honours the long lead from Rochelle. They nearly made a meal of it, and it might come off here. Phil Thorpe flies.
I don't know about nearly.
They did.
They did make a meal. They just got away with it.
Trying to be nice, Roo, but you're always the straight shooter.
Got to be straight.
Weird contest at the moment. It's up for grabs for the Eagles. The crowd know it. The Crows know it. Flynn, O'Brien, the chaos. Pedler, jammed. Benro Hutchinson.
One thing they've done really well, the pressure's been great by West Coast, but they've stuck their tackles. So any chance you break a tackle, you know it's literally just going to go straight over the top. But look at this. That's hit front on. Sensational.
Yeah, nice and tough.
Berry caught immediately. That's a nice wrap-around tackle as well. Overcommit, Brockman.
Dwayne, you
wrapped him up well.
mentioned it's a weird quarter. Adelaide are going at 56% kicking efficiency. West Coast just to 73. So there's a lot of turnovers going at the moment.
Goalless so far in this third term. Deep inside 50. Hutchinson's going to take them on. It'll spill the way of Marrick, and he's tied up. Edging closer to goal. Aguana against Woolwich Marawa.
Pressure factor Adelaide 211, West Coast 194, so both above AFL average.
They've brought the pressure. Oh, I reckon, is that a free?
Had to be.
Had to be. Umpire blows the whistle, and Isaac will have it directly in front.
And that is why you need at least a couple of umpires looking at every contest, because the one that was closest didn't pay it.
It's amazing that, isn't it? The one who's closest doesn't pay it.
Yeah, well, they get blocked though sometimes. That's what I was saying. With so many players around the contest these days, the congestion sometimes it does block their vision. So they need to position themselves so they cover as many angles as possible.
From directly in front, just the one behind to his name this afternoon. He sticks it.
Tell us about that goal celebration, Sean. You know that one?
It looked like a bow and arrow to me. I don't know what it was. As long as he kicked it, here he is on the move. He gets that because he's on the move around stoppage, as you said. Umpire closest to the contest, you can see they came from a long way away. And yeah, that looks like a bow and arrow. And then patting of the head, I'm not sure, Rude. You're better equipped to answer that than me.
One thing's for sure, Eddie Betts gave him some advice on the celebrations, and I don't think any of those were in the kit bag.
I'm sure what it was.
Back to the equal, the biggest margin of the game, 23 points. It was just before half-time. Bounce to restart it. Dawson will fend off on Hoff. Floats it long. Can they get some momentum again? Fogarty nearly. Jimmy wraps him up. They got some momentum late in the second term, the Crows.
Fogarty's getting frustrated, Dwayne.
He is.
He's going to hurt someone in a minute, I think.
He wears number 32 for a reason.
So the Crows have scored 12 times from stoppages. That is a career high for them this season.
And the snap is good from Sligo. No, it's not. It's wide. And they're behind. So he blows his chances. Well, they kicked 3 goals in a row late in the second term, the Crows, but been threatening all game to blow this out.
Long bomb. Oh, the one-hander by Waterman. Great grab. All Australian last year, showing us why. And they go end to end here, the visitors. Williams is there. Free kick to Allen. So the Twin Towers were there. They all rush back. Wide to Kelly. Here's the free on Allen. Malcolm holding rather.
Nothing in that one either.
Kelly stabs it into the pocket. Oh, well done, Brockman, a double grabber. He launched. He is having a game and a half.
No one's ever questioned his ability. He's got tons of that.
Well, the kick wasn't for him. I think it was for Waterman, and he just read it and had a jump at it. He's had a good game. He's had the 10 disposals, 1 goal. Looks very lively around the contest.
Keep going. One more. There it is.
A little bit of left to right here, just inside that left post.
To keep them within striking distance, it's not coming back enough. And Brockman across the face.
blown left to right. It was...
Yep.
Didn't give it any chance.
Margin 23.
Miller stays central. Marek knew exactly what he was going to do. Out position Pedler with ease. Pedler maybe a little rusty. First game of the season. Marek really established himself as a defender now to Hunt. Was a forward, now a defender. Marek. Touch play on. Nice as I'll have it.
They'll take the territory battle over the last 5 minutes, the Eagles. They've just kept it down this end. They had a couple of shots on goal and just keeping their pressure right up.
O'Brien took it out of the air, caught. Ryan was tracking it, called for the handoff, and Ryan doesn't bend it enough. It is bizarre.
Should have kicked that one. That's bread and butter for Liam Ryan.
Handball was there as well over the top. Had a teammate potentially running into an open goal.
3 behinds for the Eagles in this turn. Laird on the kicking duties. Goes long and strong. Again, it's the Eagles at ground level. Hunt. A high ball. Waterman's going to fly from the side. Butts was there with him. Eagles come up with it. Baker almost couldn't quite get it to his teammate. And now the Crows running in waves down the centre of the ground. Saligo can flick it wide. Out towards Keys or Dawson. It should sit for Dawson. He could just about go all the way. He's 60 out, but he spots Pedler right on the edge of the goal square. A lethal left boot from the skipper to set it up.
Great kick by Dawson, but even Pedler made the easy look hard there with how he marked it.
Well, they got the overlap in the middle of the over because the West Coast defender pressed to man the mark. Let Dawson be the easy one free.
First game for the season, hasn't played in this side for over a year. Good form in the SAFL. And he rewards the coach with 2 majors this afternoon, and they skip out to their biggest lead of the day. The Crows by 28.
You mentioned Rui's had a lot of body issues, but finally got his body nice and sound, although he's wearing a lot of strapping.
Look, he's a hard runner and he's a hard unit, full stop. Kick the ball a mile. Just needs an opportunity. It's hard to get, a lot harder to get into the side now than what it was a few years ago. But he's earned his chance today. He's earned his recall and he's going pretty good. You can see how tricky that wind is because he had all the time in the world to take that mark and he still nearly misjudged the flight of the ball. It's definitely plenty of carry.
Well, definitely helped him in the end, didn't it? Marked in the goal square, straight out in front instead of on the angle.
5 of the last 6 goals now for the Crows. O'Brien with a slap down. Hewitt, Reid, they tried to don't argue, and he got an argument. Could have been a trip.
Yeah, good
call.
slip. Good call. It's pretty hard to bring down, Harley Reid.
Yes. He's long launched that, and it's almost, it is a mark. So Williams has taken that. In fact, it's Allen has taken that at the top of the square.
It's a really strong mark considering the form Keane's been in today as well.
Yeah, well, Keane could have punched it. He probably regrets going for the mark there, but well done, Oscar Allen.
That was an opportunity for him to do what he did a few weeks ago in the showdown when he was the hero. Mark Keane, for all money, you thought he was going to do it then. Allen hasn't had a big afternoon just yet. Played a bit of fullback on this ground in previous trips here. And keeps this one alive.
Yeah, well done, Oscar Allen. Keane's been on top of him for all the game, really. Dominated in the first quarter, but still can have a big second half there. Right in this game, still, it's only 4 goals the difference, or 22 points. We've got the breeze at the back in the last quarter. Here's the tackle. So did everything right, Peatling, and still couldn't bring him down, so had to resort to the trip.
He's like a marlin. If you give up on him, he's away.
Good to see him back kicking goals. Been a tough couple of months for Oscar Allen, but 13 disposals, 2 goals, 2 last week in their breakthrough win. Had a tough opponent this afternoon.
Looks like Adelaide are set to make their sub. Sid Draper's just got the mouth guard in and the training top is off.
So Draper coming in. Of course, he was the late inclusion after Tex Walker was the late withdrawal. What about the brute force of Thilthorpe out of the middle? Now, here's a chance for Pedler. Fogarty, can he get it to Rochelle? Not quite. Still they go. Neil Bullen spins and then snaps. And snaps truly.
He got the goal in the end, Neil Bullen. There was nothing clever about it. Thilthorpe got the centre clearance, which started it all off. You can have a look here. Just brushes off, Brady off, does his best to get free. Pedler with a little bit too much speed, gets hold of the ball. Not a great kick from him there, and then a little bit of luck just where it lands. Threaded the eye of a needle there. Alex Neil-Bullen.
It was a real squeeze, wasn't it, between the two defenders?
We had Pedler waiting for the handball back, so lucky he kicked the goal. Good finish. There's Draper on ball.
Out there.
There he is. So the Whiz kid said.
Yeah, he was the late in, so it was an 18-year-old in for the 35-year-old Taylor Walker.
5th time he's been a sub as well, Dwayne, so he's playing his 8th game today.
8th game, and Tex 288 games on the hunt for 300, but rested for this. Thilthorpe doing well. Little push off on Reed. Baker wasn't the required. He knew, but he tried to fool a few into thinking it was okay. Really dragged down, and that's gone. Really put the foot down now, the Crows.
Really good tackle there. Just on Sid Draper, Rue.
Yep.
Pre-season, he was winning the races, so he doesn't have a problem running.
No, he can run.
Well, that's downfield.
Who was it?
And the handle over the top. Neil Bullen can stroll in and goal it. And he gets told to bring it back, so he's not allowed to play on.
It's undisciplined by Hewitt there.
Hewitt, yeah. Hewitt and Dawson.
Gee, they've had 3 goes at this, the Adelaide Crows, and the umpire brought them back every time.
Pedler will take it. Rue, where's his best position? Is he playing a centre for on ball?
No, half, probably. Look, he'd love to be a midfielder like most players do, but probably high half forward, maybe deep forward.
First game of the season. Can't bring that back. That's why they wanted to play on. They wanted to play on quickly.
West Coast have just activated their sub. Dewars comes on and Gross is off, and it's Taylor that's been subbed out for the Crows, and we know that Sid Draper is in.
Thanks, Benedictson. Merrick got it eventually to Brock, who launches long. Big spoil from the side off the fist of Butts. Keys picks it up. Hinge, handball. Couldn't get it cleanly to a teammate. Pentling wore the damage. He knew it was coming, and one was from Jack Graham. And the other was Hutchinson.
Some tough balls out there
Isn't it?
to win, I tell you. If you saw players after this,
He knew it was coming, and he had to go, and he did. So he just skirts the perimeter out to Dawson. The piercing left boot right into the goal square, and there's no one there.
the players are still not judging the kicks to that end. The ball's going over the back more often than not. I think one or two of them would work it out. It's easy from up here.
Duggan. Flynn knocked it down to the front. Dawson working hard. Off, cut it off. Played for the free high. Ryan didn't get it. Baker rolled into the tackle delicately. That's the difference that a team like Geelong has. They train at their home ground every week. Most teams don't get to train at the ground they play on. Not sure how many times the Adelaide Crows get to train here, or
Just once.
yeah. Hinge through the traffic, feeds it out. Coming, rolls it inside. Baker, fake, duck. Marrick, off, tried to get there in time. Sub, Draper. It's ugly, it's untidy. But if you're a Crow fan, you've got a 30-point lead. So It's kind of going to script.
Haven't had it all on their own terms, though, the Adelaide Crows. Thilthorpe straight down to Hoff. Miller are reading it best in a one-on-one with Ryan. Spears the pass. Was looking for Thilthorpe. Keys. Breaks through. Gives it off to Berry. Quick snap by Berry. And this could break the resistance.
Been pretty good today, Sam Berry. Started in the centre square at the start of the match. I think the coaches might have said to him, you have a run today, you've been sub for a lot, you've been on the outer a little bit, but today we're going to give you a full crack at it. Miller has been good as well. He tried to kick it to Thilthorpe. Went over the back again. Berry doing what he should do. He should be able to kick that one.
So Sam Berry started as the sub the last 3 games. Finally gets a run. Starts in the middle. Mark Rashido, and he's got 18 disposals and a goal.
Yeah, he's been pretty good today. There's no doubt about that. No one's been perfect in these conditions, but 18 disposals and a goal, we'd be happy with that.
Second most possessions on the ground now, Sam Berry. Literally changing with Jordan Dawson out of full forward. So Jordan Dawson on the ball now. Berry into the goal square at full forward, back in the middle. O'Brien with the swipe. Flynn with the clearance of sorts. Playing off the wing at the moment. Daniel Kirk turns and goes. They can smell some blood. The Adelaide Crows hinge a skimmer. Neil Bullen. Rankin hasn't broken out just yet in this one. Thilthorpe threatening to put a big number on the Eagles.
And it's real danger time now for the Eagles. Their pressure has just dropped away, which is allowing Adelaide to spread from stoppage really easily and get the ball into their better users like Rankin, and they can hit up the free targets. Just need to retweak their pressure up West Coast.
Inside 50s, 15-7 in the third quarter, 8 scoring shots to 4. That's 4 goals, 4 to 1 goal, 3.
For his third. The number 1 goal kicker on the ground. Doesn't work back enough. Works bad late, but you can really give it a run.
You can get sucked into the wind. You really don't have to give the goal away. You like setting up the bumper rails at a 10-pin bowling alley. You just got to keep it inside that, and the wind will do the rest.
2 goals, 3 for the afternoon for Riley Thilthorpe. Up to 25 for the year, the equal of Darcy Fogarty. Reid thumps it to the advantage. Hewitt, Ryan, having to take it on the bounce. There was Waterman, brings it back inboard, puts Williams under the pump. Too many Crows jumpers, and they can go now. Miller up, they're lining up, coming. Careful, bearing down was Brockman. He's had a brilliant game today. Neil Bullen goes back inboard, Berry. Neil Bullen, can they work themselves out of this? They can. Berry to Dawson, right on 50, right on his range, and he salutes.
What a goal by the skipper, but that comes from pressure on their half-back flank where West Coast are streaming forward. They get the turnover, and on turnover they counter-attack and go forward and get into one of their best users. Neil Bullen's really smart, just doesn't blaze away, gets back to Berry. They work their way through that with composure and get into Dawson's hands. I'm very happy with that finish route after we spoke about the wind.
That was sort of a just indication of how the game has been. It was a bit messy. They tried to keep the ball on the body, and in the end the skipper stood up and said, I'll just bang it through from 50, boys, just give it to me.
Yeah, he's won Adelaide's best and fairest the last couple of seasons. Had 27 possessions, 8 tackles last week against Collingwood in that loss. Brownlow contender, top 5 in the AFL Coaches Award at the moment. 43-point margin. We'll recall that. Crows kicked 3 goals in a row late in the second term to blow the margin out a little. And now they've kicked 3 goals in a row late in this third.
Yeah, they've got 10 of the last 13 now.
One in the air. O'Brien kind of proves you don't have to have the best ruck in the comp. You can't afford to have the worst. But he's a good competitor, Riley O'Brien. And there he goes on cue. Thumps it towards half forward, which You do like every now and then to mix it up. Rankin weaves his way past a couple. Berry got up there.
He's gone for colour hangers today, Barry. That hasn't been in his game previously, but he's got a good leap on him. And that was sitting right up for him.
The inside 50's out of control.
That short.
I wish I could jump like that now. But the inside 50's out of control. Adelaide are at 18 this quarter for 5 goals, 6. So they're putting West Coast to the sword right now.
Here's O'Brien getting involved again. Riley O'Brien flicked it out. Miller was quick. Too quick for Sid. Harley Reid fends off one. Can't fend off the second. Draper can go and get it. Oh, he's given it straight to Kelly. Back to Harley Reid. Fakes one way. Handballs over the top. Overcooked the handball to Williams. Stolen down the middle it goes. Here's Rankin. This is dangerous. Off to Berry. He knows he's got to give it back to Isaac, who fumbles it because the handball wasn't precise. They're making life hard before eventually giving it to Rankin. Oh, he handballs to Rochelle, and he finally adds the finishing touches, but boy, they made hard work of it.
Well, Rochelle was free that whole time, and Berry even took a bounce, and Rochelle was still free. They gave him the ball in the end. They're all getting a crack at the goals at the moment.
Yeah, they're all licking the ice cream. It's obviously easy when you're in the grandstand. Sometimes you can see the free play. Clearly, Berry didn't realise there that Rochelle was on his own. He was trying to draw the player to get it to Rankin. We've seen some scrappy play, but we've seen some very good finishes. That one there from Rochelle was harder than it looked, and obviously Dawson's not long ago. A great finish as well. 6 goals, 6 in this third quarter now. Really blowing the margin out.
Including the last 4 majors through.
And another celebration from Rash.
50 points the margin now. Taligo. Deja vu for the Eagles. They were smashed here against Carlton. Gather round. Lost by 71 points. Carlton got a hold of them in that. Phil Thorpe trying to get a hold of this. Rankin on his left. Nearly. The crowd's out of their seat at the moment. They've enjoyed this last 10-minute clinic the Adelaide Crows have put on.
Isaac with the 1 goal today. Just get the feeling they're waiting for Rankin to put on a show. There's still plenty of time in this one. Oscar Allen going down back in these final minute before 3/4 time.
Couldn't quite get hold of it there, can you?
Worrell, long. Rochelle has a sniff. Has a sniff. He smells the goal. He snares the goal. And he will celebrate in style.
Shy retiring time, didn't he, Rash?
That's an outstanding snap, isn't it? Considering we've spoken about the wind all day, he kicks a drop punt from that spot, and then follows it up with a snap. And again, Adelaide just dominated that long ball down the line. They have done that since the first bounce today.
We read that going over the back, didn't we, Sean? Yeah, we've been talking about that. It's going over the back all the time, so he did stay down and waited for it, got what he needed, and then he's all class. Look, he's a genuine gun, small forward who can kick goals. He's kicked 3 straight today when others have been missing easy goals.
Well, the small forwards at the moment should realise the ball's going over the back. You normally get 1 or 2 that just blitz through and hope for that one. It's been going over there a lot. He was smart enough to read that one.
Well, you've seen the difference between 4th and 18th in the last 15 minutes of this. Seconds tick down. They got 1 left. A mark from this, they can have a shot. It's a wide ball. We thought couldn't get there, wrapped up the tackle. Marriott. And the crowd rise. Enjoyed that third turn. 102 to 45. The Adelaide Crows on the hunt for a 7th win. Into the top 4 of what's closing in on the halfway point of this season. 15-12, 102. We're at the 100 up before 3/4 time. The Eagles, 6-9, 45.
Well, I tell you what, what's going on here? Adelaide 15-12, 1-2, that's what's going on. The Eagles 6-9-45. Eagles, 1 goal, 3 in that third term. Crows, 7 goals, 7. 7-7. My gosh, they kicked more in that third term than the Eagles' total score. That's some scoring shots. What can be said? Yeah, this is definitely looking like a blowout here. 100 points. Look, everything's going right for Adelaide Crows, but of course, I know they got a little bit more skill, etc., like that. Just the turnovers, even like that Harley Reid one, as you're saying, Alex. That Harley Reid one, all you can do is just a soft handball over and do it. But he tries to pound that handball so hard. And, of course, what should have been a West Coast goal, turnover, down to Adelaide, bang, goal. I think some of the hearts of the West Coast players are getting absolutely torn apart at the moment. I think the West Coast Eagles will be just happy to hear that final siren, get on a plane back to Perth and forget all about this game. This is an absolute shellacking. Look, they were good up until half time, or at least up until probably this position, 11 minutes into the third term, where it was probably only about 18 points of difference and still anyone's game. But Adelaide, they've turned it on for the crowd. The crowd's loving it out there at Adelaide Oval. You see the cheers, the flags are flying high. Everything's going really, really well. There we go, nearly out to 60. Tell you what, she's on 60, what is it, 57 at the moment, I think. Is that right? Yeah, 57. And I think it could just about get out to that 100. Wouldn't surprise me the way things are going. Yeah, Harley Reid's, he's done absolutely zero today, Harley Reid. Well, he did kick that 1 goal in the opening term. Josh Rochelle, though, put on a few in that third term. He's got 3 now, tops the table. 3 goals for him. Leads the way for Adelaide and everyone out on the ground. Riley Thilthorpe with a couple with Pedler and Dawson. Ranky, Peatling, O'Brien's got 1, Neil Bullen, Ben Keys, Sam Berry. I tell you what, they're lining up for the goals for the Adelaide players. And of course, for the West Coast Eagles, 2 goals to Jake, the mullet, Waterman, Harley Reid with a single, Hugh and Brockman also singles. Who's taken all the possession? Sam Berry out on the ground with 22. Isaac Ranky having a field day out there, 21, looking good. Jordan Dawson, 21 also. Miller at 18, Laird 17. Top 5 out there, all from the Crows. Liam Duncan, best for the Eagles on 17. There we go. So it's a reasonably low possession game for most players out there at the moment. Riley Thilthorpe, I thought this could have been a big day out for him, but he's been well held. I think he's been well held anyway. Even though he's kicked 2 goals, 14 touches, 12 kicks, they've done a reasonably good job on him as the other player, as we'll go down the stats a little bit more, down to the players. Zerha, no, not Zerha. My gosh. Fogarty, Fogarty. Fogarty's been well held. A little bit frustrated out there. So there's probably West Coast 1 win for the day. He's getting well held. Just 4 touches for Fogarty, 1 behind. 2 kicks, 2 handballs. That is all for him. All right, let me take that back up. We're going to head back down there in just a minute. In just a minute, we're going to head back down to the ground. Pushkar, how you going? Pushkar Sharma, welcome in. There we go. Get in the comments with everyone else. Everyone else is having a fantastic time. Thanks, Tine, for hanging in there. Appreciate that. It's always good when you're even watching the footy and you can have a little bit of a chit-chat in the comments. It's great fun, great fun. Hey, let me get back over there. All right, let's take us back down to the ground. The Essendon coach is just having a word with these players. He's saying, come on, fellas, we're doing the good job, but the game's not over yet. We've still got to stick with the basics, do the job. Let's get that 100-point margin. Let's get back down to the ground. We're only 20 seconds away. We're into the final quarter here. Or it's the Crows by 57 points.
6 goes into West Coast forward line. Look how quick they are to get on their bike and run in waves. So they spread quite quickly. Neil Bullen's going right down the middle of the ground, just on his bike, and then Dawson. So you can see they make the ground nice and big. They spread, they run in numbers, and this is the isolation they get up forward. No surprise that their forwards are kicking lots of goals, and it's a good spread. Is the supply they're getting is from the midfield run.
Yeah, they dominate in that third quarter. You can just see on the screen there's clearances, contested possession, inside 50s. Contested possession for the last 2 quarters has been plus 30 for Adelaide. So the spray at quarter time to wake up and get stuck into it certainly worked, and they needed that second half, that third quarter to blow it open. Let's see what the Coasters can do in the last quarter.
More goals, bigger percentage, and they'll leapfrog the Dogs, the Hawks and the Cats into 4th spot after 11 rounds. As we turn into the final quarter, and Draper, his eyes light up. The sub. Can he get it home? It's a bouncing ball. It'll stop and bounce the wrong way and open the door for Edwards to come and clean it up. Hunt. Long down the line. Allen outnumbered. Laird needs to beat the tackle of Allen, and Allen does well to hold it up.
West Coast.
Free kick to Oscar.
Stand.
Co-captain of this side. Been so good for 2 quarters. They were blown away in that third term. Flynn. Crows kick 7-7 to the Eagles, 1 goal 3. They were monstered in that third term after Adelaide led by 17 at half-time. Dawson's been brilliant. He's out-muscled by Reed. Loops the handball over the top. Shot from the boundary is a tough one, and it goes across the face. And that was Jua. Sup.
I'm sure the carrot for Andrew McQualter would have been to the team, win the quarter. So it's a pretty big mountain to climb where they are right now, but win the quarter. That would be the instruction.
Good mark to Baker. He's their leader, 2-time Richmond Premiership player. Traded for a first-round pick in the WA for Flynn. Desperately need that kind of experience for Liam Baker. Jack Graham's been a huge pickup for them as well. Flynn goes wide. Duggan.
And you need a few of those, Dwayne, because they've got a few injury-prone older players as well who haven't seen much of the oval in the last few years. They've taken a good mark here, have they?
Yeah, Waterman's pulled that down. You're right, though. They do have a few players on their list still that can't get up. We want to talk about whether their preparation's been good enough. But the bottom line is they have needed to add. Try and allow the growth factor of guys like Elijah Hewitt, Ruben Ginby, Noah Long, still young in their careers. Hopefully sign Harley Reid up for a 10-year deal. Jake Waterman kicks some life back into this contest.
Yeah, well done by the Eagles. They've got to win this last quarter. Simple as that. They just lack a bit of depth in their midfield. I just wonder whether that was what's just starting to hurt them in the middle of the ground. But if they can just keep rotating some players through, give them a chance. They've got quite a bit of potency in the forward line. If they can get it down there with some good delivery. Waterman, none better than him. He's an old Australian and having a pretty good day today.
It was a quality mark in the end, wasn't it? He was still going to carry. The ball's still carrying a long way down there. So he's kicked the 3 goals today. He's fought down there in the forward line with his opportunities that's come his way.
His best this season was 4 in round 6 in that 2-point loss to Essendon. Of course, didn't play 3 early games because of injury. Reid out of the centre. Tackled to the turf by O'Brien. That was with intent. Well done by O'Brien. Out of contract at the end of this season. He's a real sole ruckman. He's been good today. Gives it to Laird, who pumps it long. Fogarty! Finally, it sticks.
Well, he's on Sandy Brock. Sandy Brock, the last 3 weeks, his direct opponent has not kicked a goal. Darcy Fogarty had that shank in the third quarter where he kicked a point. Can he kick a goal and stop Sandy Brock's great defensive run?
Fogarty only goalless once this season against the Giants here in round 6. For his first major of the afternoon, and the fog joins the party.
It's been uncharacteristically quiet, Darcy Fogarty, which you've got to give the credit to young Sandy Brock, who, whether he's kept him out of the position or he's just beat him, it's been a combination of both. Let's have a look here. He's had plenty of time here, Brock. Just didn't get his timing right. Just didn't quite jump at the right time so he could get his fist on the ball.
Brock either needs to make better contact or jump better. So he's been really physical off the ball before the ball's come in. And that time there, he allowed the Fog to run and jump at it. There's the Coleman medal tally, Fulham 26, Jeremy Cameron leading all comers.
Been on fire, Jeremy, isn't he? Last couple of weeks.
From the restart, O'Brien knocks it down. Brockman wanted to get it on the run. Hewitt kicked it off the deck, got it toward half forward in the scramble. Brockman gets it back again, and a sizzler that goes over the head of Waterman. Nuts was content to see the contact help him out. Got a little bit of a high one as well. And Waterman knew exactly what the umpire told him. It was a poor tackle, got him high. It was a ball in for all money and just didn't have the discipline. Soligo.
That Brockman kick hits Waterman. He's having a shot for his fourth.
Yeah.
That's the opportunities that West Coast have to take.
Big difference maker, but that's the difference between the good teams and the bad teams, really. You can't kick, you can't play in the modern game.
Especially when you look up, most of the time you've got 18 defenders in front of you now.
And that's the challenge for Andrew McWilder. You know, the balance between you don't want to hemorrhage on the scoreboard, but you also want to put your method and your style that you're trying to encourage these boys to play.
O'Brien towards the boundary line. Hewitt overruns it. Hutchinson comes in, collects, blazes away, and Butts really had to get on his bike. Couldn't get there in the end, but happy to see it over. So the Crows with the 16 goals today. They cracked the century mark before three-quarter time, but it won't be the highest score they've had this year. In round 1, 21 goals against St Kilda. Final points was at 135 on the board, and 25 goals in round 2 against Essendon to finish with 161. So when they can get going, they can get going. There's Noah Long, steadies and misses. Long and Dewar in for Cripps and Owies. That's a shame about Jamie Cripps. Just one of their veterans will be missed with a month with a knee injury.
Good grab by Darcy Fogarty, starting to rise a bit. The Fog inside kick is good. You mentioned their big scores, Kel. So their percentage right now, Adelaide, has gone up with this scoreline to 130. They could be the team with the second highest or close to it, even the highest percentage in the comp at the halfway point of the season. 130, their percentage now, Collingwood's 132.9, and then top of the pops, Collingwood, Williams. Eagles trying to put a dent in that percentage.
The Suns 132 with a game in hand and a play later today.
Yeah, I think the Suns have had a little bit easier a draw, so it has helped their percentage. Hutchison, good move. Graham around his body, but he was out of play.
I know Roo won't like me saying this, but in terms of what Adelaide have produced this year, it's a pretty collective and impressive outfit. So, I mean, top 4 would be a minimum for this group in what they're producing so far this season. So they'll be in the the top 4 tonight, and they should be staying there.
Graham, Marek. Flying in from the side. That was brilliant by Worrell. He put his body on the line, didn't he? Got the spoil away.
But that is just brave all round, though.
Just on that, Waterman's done his shoulder, I think.
So Waterman one side, have a look, and Worrell the other.
Just on that, Waterman's in the trans.
Oh, yes, in the middle.
Yeah, he's coming off with Could be a dislocation or
He really didn't even get.
Yeah, it is a dislocation. You can just see there. So
Oh, no.
in the hands now with the trainers just coming from the field. So but he's at the highest point.
That's still out at the moment. They're going to have to take him downstairs and put that back in like a chicken wing.
Look at the deep breaths he's taking. That is just to try and hide the pain.
Oh, that's the last thing this team needs.
Don't say current footballers are soft, because they all went for that contest knowing anything could happen on the other side, and he was the one that copped the brunt of it.
Williams and Worrell were coming from either side, weren't they? And he was squished in the middle, standing his ground. I've already got a long list, of course. McGovern, concerns over his future with the concussion. And they're two All-Australians from last year. McGovern was one and Waterman was the other. We wish him all the best, Jake Waterman.
The injuries that can be from bad preparation with soft tissue and stuff like that, and then you get collision injuries, which you can do nothing about. There's just a little bit of luck involved.
Miller bangs it out of the D50 and juggling the mark. Brock getting better with every game. He's going to hope for a run and jump. Harley Reid jumps, mistimes it. Margin is 55. It was 6 at quarter time, 17 at half time, and 57 at three-quarter time after the Crows kicked 7-7 to the Eagles. 1 goal, 3. No Tex Walker. He was a late withdrawal. Sid Draper came in as the sub, and he's been activated out there. Berry got a start, started in the midfield. That's a big tackle, and Brockman got him.
Well, mentioned Brockman today. He's had a good game. You know, he's just adding his defensive pressure. He's had some really positive touches this game. Just got to hit the scoreboard now.
13 disposals, 1 goal, 1 of 4 Indigenous players for the Eagles. Can he curl that back? And it's a little skinny for Brockman.
It's disappointing. Jake Waterman's down in the ruins with the shoulder, so he missed some time and footy, I'm sure, but it just presents the opportunity for other players to come in. We know Jeremy McGovern's not in this team, and we can see what Brock's done over the recent weeks, so just to elevate themselves in their forward line, it'll give them another look.
And let's hope the doctors get it in quickly, because the quicker you get that shoulder in, the less damage it causes. And they are pretty good these days, the doctors, of that twist manipulation of getting that shoulder back in the socket. Dawson, delicate inside kick that missed the target. Cole down the spine, turned over again. Hinge got a fist in. Graham on the rebound. Brock went inside. Duggan, nice handoff. Hunt gets him in his vapor trail and sends it long. Not quite Allen. Keane right with him. Didn't get it out. Allen collects it, and now they do combine to almost get it out on the full. Well, says I'll have it.
Well, they were out there, but you just see Oscar Allen just drops that ball, and he marks it, has a shot on goal, but then you see Wayne Malera is the first in the screen. That's just Adelaide's work rate to get back in there and defend.
Got done by the Allen key there, Dwayne.
Nice work.
Picking it up is Williams, and he throws his boot at it. It's the wrong type of bounce for him.
Straight out, Oscar, Mark. Straight out.
That was the exact spot they got the good bounce earlier on in the game.
Worrell on the kick in. Hunt picks it off. It's a little handball to Cole. Good pressure by Saligo. Cole goes again. Goes back. Baker. Launching Allen. Reid. Too quick for him. Brockman. So quick. Hunt. Steadies. Off a step. Goes for home. 3-on-1. Long's outnumbered. And Miller keeps it in. And that's the kind bounce for the Crows this time. And that end. Punched away. Worrell. Keys. Brilliant. Outside of the boot. Who can control it here? Pedler. Brilliant. Coming in today's kicked a couple. And now they're off. Fogarty. Running is Isaac. Crowd says give it to him. Give it to Isaac. Does Isaac give it to Rochelle? He's unselfish. R&R combined. Cramp or hammy?
Smile on his face.
Smile or grimace?
find out shortly. Look at this bounce. Look at that bounce. That could have easily been a point. It stays in. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for Adelaide, but it was a great kick there to find Fogarty, and this was an even better kick to get it right out in front. Even if it had a bad bounce there, Isaac probably could have ran him onto it.
Well, that's just gut running, isn't it, from your half forwards up the field, and they push all the way back. And there's Rochelle, then pulls up with cramp. Seems to scare through the Adelaide camp with that one.
Definitely cramp.
Straight off.
He's in the goal square now.
In the goal square.
Back in the goal square. He's sniffing it. It's 4.
It's a disguise to get 5.
He wants his fifth.
Just put me back.
Yeah, Rochelle with 4 so far. Still plenty of time left to add to it. All the cramp doesn't cost him. Hewitt goes off the deck, but Laird was waiting for it. He's had a good afternoon at the office as well, as he so often does. The possession fest when he's on. Dawson's been great since going into the middle. Little tap on in Peatling's direction. Hassle by Hewitt. Nothing to his old teammate Isaac Cumming. Spear passes just over the head of Rankin. And the mark taken by Hoff.
Knocked over by Hinch. A little tussle between Oscar Allen and Keane behind the ball. As Jordan Dawson comes off for a much-needed breather. 23 disposals, 2 goals, 1 for the skipper. Berry's had 23 and 1 goal, and Rankin 22 and 1 goal, 2.
Dawson's also had 10 inside 50s, 10 out of 55.
Cumming was clean bowled, but Berry's there to pick up the pieces. Launch a rocket in a one-on-one tussle. Fogarty and Jimby. Cole repels Duggan. And now this is Brockman. He can go, rather it's Dewar who can go. He started as the sub, has a couple of bounces. Well-weighted pass to Ryan. Ryan turning Worrell inside out, delivering to Kelly. Kelly with the brush off. Little kick away. Dewar kept running. And they can't quite get there. Still they go long. Hewitt. The tackle on the tug on the jumper affected the kick. Allen sees it over.
See Ryan wanted to have a shot back there when he was running inside 50, but he had 2 or 3 spare players running near him. They're all screaming for the ball.
Kick 3 points where Ryan, he wants a goal.
And he does. Their Indigenous stars combining them, but they couldn't quite finish it off in Sir Doug Nichols' round. 39,271 in the house today. And Worrell on the last line of defence.
That was not 15. They paid a lot closer than that. A lot further than that, I should say.
It was back-to-back 8 metres.
Laird's had it 20 times. Berry's had it 24 times. Enjoying not being the sub for a change. Michaelani burns his way down the wing, hits toward Curtin would have done. Keys on the run. Loops it over the top. Little shrug off from Draper. Wants 5, does Rochelle. Rolls it to the top of the square. Missed his target, Hunt. Cuts it off.
Oh.
He put his man Edwards under the hammer. And it's been deemed a trip. A little dangerous for a split second. Beats the handball wide. What was that?
Wow.
What was that?
I don't know, Dwayne.
Was he going to on-the-run snap? That's how he held the ball. Definitely wasn't an attempted drop one.
He has turned it over a bit during his career, Liam Duggan, but that was the wildest kick I've ever seen from his boot. There's been some wild ones, but Rochelle gets up. Can't take the mark and the ball rolls out of play.
It's Taylor Walker. A last-minute withdrawal. There was speculation all week as to whether he would be managed. He was named at selection.
Applause on the big screen for the Texan.
He will come back, you would think, next week to play game number 289. Will Bullen goes to ground. Hutchison. Reed. Oh, he stepped out. background, happy to tell him all about it.
Just an update, Jake Waterman. I just spoke to an official down here, so they're running around pretty frantically, but they have got the shoulder back in. So I think that is a positive. They might have found the filing cabinet down there for Martin Riggs' lethal weapon.
Oh, what a scene.
What a scene. But the good news is the shoulder is back in.
That is good news. And as you said, Dicko, I mean, it opens the door for another player. Archer Reed wasn't named today. Surprised a few. He's been named in the waffle. The Zach Reed from Essendon hurt himself on Friday night. Not a hamstring, I think it was, but maybe the door opens for Archer Reed.
West Coast players quite rightly asking why was that not holding the ball?
O'Brien, Draper, Kelly, quick to Reed. Look at the explosive pace. As it bounced, draws the defender, goes to Long, assesses the options. Well-weighted pass to Oscar Allen. Nice passage of play.
Outstanding kick, because Michael Annie was sitting in the hole all by himself at the back, so he couldn't kick it long, and Allen had to work in between two Crows defenders, but the kick was perfect.
Metre inside the left post here, I reckon. Don't give it away, like Dicko said. Reese is left to right.
He was the only goal kicker for the Eagles in the third term. For his second of the afternoon, played the entire game in the forward line. The co-captain stands up and slots it.
Deserved that one, Sean, you think?
I think he deserved that one. He worked really hard back, but the kick was perfect. I'm not sure he's seen a better kick today than that one. Maybe Wayne Miller is in the first quarter, but that was a good kick. He looks up here. He can't kick it long because Michael Annie's there. And Keane's in front. Perfect. There we go. There's Allen working back.
Yeah, they won the contested possessions, they won the disposals, clearances, inside 50s, and they've had 6 shots on goal to Adelaide's 2, but they've kicked 2 goals for, unfortunately. So we said at 3-quarter time, if Ida would have wanted to win the last quarter, at this stage, that's what's happening.
Interesting argument as well as to whether it's the right or wrong thing to send Oscar Allen back when they're getting absolutely smashed. The Eagles will just leave him as a forward, as the co-captain. Reed's dragged down. He didn't have a lot of prior, but had enough. O'Brien, Dawson, Butts. You go and get it. Plenty of run still in the Crows lineup. Hinge thumps it. Thilthorpe under it. The spill's huge. Rankin got there just after off and wrapped him up. So Tex rested for this. Hunting down game 300. Taylor Walker, 288 to his name. Should get there. Rankin around his body. Across the face for Shelley. Ginby, Keys, Marek. Feeds it out of play, and I'm probably going to read that. Sufficient intent. So Tex, does he get a contract next year, Root? He'll get the 300 up this year, especially with the Crows on track for finals.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how he goes in the second half of the year and where his mental state is as well, whether he thinks he can play another year.
35 years of age, turns 36 on Anzac Day, I think it is, next year.
Yep.
Those fans wanted to hold him the ball. They might get it here. Thilthorpe on Hunt. To him.
I think he's shown in recent times, Tex Walker, the footy field doesn't know how old you are. He continually produces.
Knowing Tex, he won a 3-year contract.
Kicked his 18 goals so far this season, but of course, he's the third behind Fogarty and also Thilthorpe.
We're talking about you.
He keeps telling the cameraman put him on because the crowds keep cheering.
Yeah, apparently he just heard we're talking about a 3-year deal for him.
At least he's not drinking a beer this time. Wasn't that a few years ago, Roo? When he got sprung drinking a beer? He's hidden the beer down under the desk today.
Crows don't have a bye for a while. Sydney, Lions, Hawthorn, then their bye.
Picked off. Here we go, Laird. Miller up. So good to see him getting some consistency in his football. Wayne Miller up. first round draft pick. He's had so much bad luck and signed a new 3-year extension this week. Over the head of Michaelani, Wait makes him work for it. He's a 2-on-1. Dylan Hoff. So Rochelle's got 4. Remember, he kicked 5 on debut, a couple for Phil Thorpe, Dawson and Pedler, while Waterman's got 3, off with an injured shoulder. And 2 for Oscar Allen. Harley Reid hasn't had the type of day that he would have liked, and he's been done for holding the ball. Can they torch them on the turnover here? Peatling into the pocket.
Said before that Riley Thilthorpe had 5 on debut. Dwayne, I think Josh Rochelle might have as well. That might have been the last time he kicked 5, was it?
I think you might be right there. Yep, definitely 5 goals on debut on this ground.
Big game, Sydney and Sydney next week for Adelaide.
Collision there, big one. Couple of hip and shoulders. Tim Kelly's gone down. So too Keys. Both players getting up on their feet. Stolen in the air by Curtin.
Geez, good in the air, Curtin.
He calls for the lead. He goes in that direction. O'Brien's down there, waiting at the back for his 5th. Of course. A handful for Rochelle.
He has been sniffing that one for a while, hasn't he, Sean?
He wasn't coming off with cramp, was he? He kicked that 4 and he popped himself in the goal square. Normally, the coach sees you grab your hamstring, you're straight off.
Yeah. No rest policy.
No rest policy, and he's been sniffing for his 5th. And he just pops himself in the goal square. Curtin was outstanding with that intercept mark. As you said, Roo, really strong above his head.
So Josh Rochelle, Roo, you were right. 5 on debut and then 5 here today.
Yeah.
He's done it twice in his career.
Yeah, just pushed Jimby under the ball a little bit. Certainly didn't hit it flush. He was probably his worst of his goals today in terms of flushing it, but went through.
Well, where's his ceiling, Roo? Is he going to be part-time forward mid or mid part-time forward?
Well, he could absolutely be a very, very, very good small forward, but ideally you want him to be able to run through the midfield and do a bit of centre square work as well.
Oh, he believes he's got a 6th or a 7th, surely. Get it down to me. I'm the hot man.
Well, he's in the goal square.
Yep.
Doesn't lack belief, Dwayne.
Absolutely.
Which is nothing wrong with it because he can back it up.
He just told Phil Thorpe to beat it.
Is that ball? Dawson plays onto advantage. Oh, that could have been the free kick that Rochelle was after.
He just put his arms up to the
What are you
captain.
doing?
What about me?
He spoke to the umpire as well. He wasn't holding the ball there. He blindsided him. He came from the goal square.
That
Bang.
was holding the ball for all money.
They did pay it. I think they just let it go to Dawes.
Yeah. Skipper Rose in 1. Hewitt. High. Butts couldn't judge it with the sunshine. Michaelani, good again today. Draper. Curtin. Berry.
Draper's still going here.
Phil Thorpe. On the long lead, Rochelle. Might come back to him. He tries to fend off on Jimby. Tied in against the boundary line. Teams up with Draper. And they'll reset and go again here through Michaelani. Back to Worrell. Switch the side. The left foot up. Lovely pass to hit up O'Brien. Oh, that's a dinky, awkward-looking kick. I'm not sure how you describe that. Phil Thorpe, the bully, busted his way through. Peatling's taken high. Baker lets him know about it. And now it's on because Rankin comes in and tosses Baker like a ragdoll, which is hard to do. And out of nowhere, the sparks are flying.
This will be expensive.
Yeah, with a couple of minutes to go.
Peatling says thank you very much. And Baker just let his frustrations out.
Gee, what's the point? What did he do?
Well, we saw Dawson with Harley Reid about 10 minutes ago give him a little bit of afters, a little bit of mayo to let Harley Reid know about it when Harley had a free kick against him. So there's a little bit of spice in this and has been for quite a while. But here it is again. See, that's the thing that A lot of commentators are now saying we've got to get that out of the game. Do we want that in?
Well, Baker's better than that. I've got full respect for Baker. I reckon he's a great player and a great teammate, but anyone who does things like that for no reason, they can get right into a scuffle.
Well, Monday morning you go into the GM's office or whatever, you sign the papers, because they're all being fined. There's a lot of money, just wasted money there.
That's business class round the world ticket, that one.
66 points the margin. Rankin let you know. And Baker obviously content, won't win the game, but might win the fights.
Might be a bit of frustration from Liam, but shouldn't have done that.
So from the restart, 3 minutes left. See, there's another spot fire or two left in this. Hewitt thumps it. Kelly, little nudge to the back. Worrell goes and gets it anyway to Laird. He's been unstoppable at half-back. Does well defeating. Crab wanted to get on with it. They want Josh Rochelle to get a sixth. 2 minutes left to do it.
So does he.
In all seriousness, Roo, how did Josh Rochelle take the when he was dropped last year after the showdown?
He took it well. He knew he did the wrong
Oh,
thing.
he's run too far here.
No, he took it well, Kelly. He knew he did the wrong thing, knew exactly what the coach wanted.
And have you seen him mature at all as a result of that? Or we know he's
absolutely.
fully confident, but
Not 20 seconds off his 2K time trial over the summer. He's been fantastic with his leadership he's displayed, and his football's better for it.
great to hear. As Liam Ryan, now he's peppered this afternoon. Got the 3 behinds, 10 disposals, spending more time in the midfield.
Could have had a really good day if he'd kicked straight and taken his opportunities. But spending a bit more time on ball, flicking forward with Brockman.
Coming into this game, he kicked 11 goals, 7 for the year. Sets himself, and again that breeze will pick it up. And he misses to the near side. So hasn't had his kicking boots on today, unable to register. Crows by 65 points in front of a crowd of nearly 40,000.
I had to laugh then. Darcy Fogarty tried to come from the ground. He was cramping in the calf, then the hammy everywhere, and they said, minute to go, stay out there. He can hardly walk.
He's on the wing cramping, walking at the moment. I'm watching him off camera.
Laird extends another possession to the tally. Might be turned over. Jimmy handballs inside. Smacked long by Graham, and great mark by Henge. Body and soul on the line. Margin 65 points. 45 seconds left, and he still does that.
Oh, that's a lovely mark from Curtin. Wearing the famous number 6, sometimes from the back with that long locks hanging down it. It's reminds you of those Mondra days.
Bit of a fan, Kelly.
Well, you know, as a young girl growing up in Adelaide, it goes without saying, doesn't it, Rory?
As a young boy growing up in Adelaide, it goes without saying.
Dear, all I remember is the schoolyards, and all you'd hear at lunchtime was Mondra, Mondra, Mondra. It was
Too bad in the
incredible.
nightclubs, right?
Yes, I was too young to hear those stories. Here's Dawson from 50. Couldn't quite finish it. But look at Rochelle, the top of the goal square, saying, here I was.
He was on for a little lead as well, Rochelle. His player dropped off. That's why his arms are up.
So 6 at quarter time, 17 at half time, 57 at 3/4 time. That's 66 points this margin. And the Adelaide Crows take care of business. Their 7th win of the season, and they leap into the top 4 on the back of a significant percentage boost.
Feel like a 66-point win for the first 2.5 quarters, but it's short.
It was quite scrappy, wasn't it? There was a lot of missed targets, players trying to adjust to the conditions. The wing down one end, he was making the ball carry, and dropping short the other end. A lot of missed opportunities in front of goal. I think the third quarter is when Adelaide really the game apart. They dominated inside 50, they dominated clearance, possessions, kicked, I think 7-7. West Coast were reduced to spectating in that third quarter, and their pressure just dropped away.
Yeah, no, they did well. West Coast couldn't go the distance. Adelaide did well to turn it on after a quiet start. And we said earlier, West Coast could have easily been in front in that second quarter, but they just couldn't quite put it on the scoreboard. But they are heading in the right direction. They've had a good month, always tough on the road. Adelaide, in this sort of format, Adelaide's a tough role, but they're certainly heading in the right direction.
Let's get down to Ben Dixon.
Josh Rosselli, 17 points half-time, now a 66-point win. Tell us how that turned around in the second half.
Yeah, we knew West Coast was going to bring the energy today off a great win last week, so credit to them. They put up a good kind of 2 or 3 quarters, but we knew our second half that we were going to come out firing, we were going to win in the contest, and I thought we executed our game plan perfectly.
You got on the end of 5. When was the last time you kicked 5, do you remember?
Yeah, the first game, so it's been a while, 64 games later, so it's good to get another bag.
The forward line, Tex decided to rest. We spoke to Matty Mix, said Draper comes in, but it doesn't matter the mix down here at the moment in terms of your front half. It seems to function quite well, doesn't it?
Yeah, we obviously love playing with Tex. He brings a wealth of experience, and he's been such an influential person in my life and my career so far. But it's been great to see the likes of Fogg and Filthy get a run out of this year, and they're playing some great footy. And credit to really all the forwards. Everyone's playing their role really well at the moment.
Your offensive game's never been in question. Defence at times, but this year it's really stood up over the last 6 weeks. What's been the change from the team perspective?
Yeah, we knew over the last few years that our offence has been really good. A few things we need to fix in defence, and I think it's more of a mindset that we've been executing the last, 3 to 4 weeks, and I think we're just going to keep doing that.
Yeah, you got to be honest with me. Late in that, did you tell Phil Thorpe on that just to get out so you could get 6?
I got a little bit of cramps in the last few minutes, so I said, boys, empty out, give me the goal square, so it worked good.
And form, you jump into the top 4 for the first time this year. Looking at that, tell us about the consistency of the group. What do you think the key is for you?
I think for us, we know we can play really strong at home. It's probably just our away record that we can keep bringing with that. We've had some great games. I thought last week against Collingwood was another good fight. We just didn't execute those big moments. So we'll keep working out our game plan one thing at a time and focus on the process.
Great execution today. Well done, Josh.
Thanks, Benny. Have a good one.
So in Sir Doug Nichols' round, Goanna 66-point victors over Woolwich Murrawa. And the Crows now.
All right, folks, there we go. It was Adelaide running out big winners, 19-14, 128. The Eagles, 8-14, 62. I don't even think they won that little bit of a scuffle there they had, thanks to Liam Baker, I tell you what. Yeah, no need for that. The Crows, final quarter, 4 goals, 2. Eagles, 2 goals, 5. I tell you what, I did like the way the Crows went about it in the last quarter. They did get some good run. Looked like their best run of their game came in that final quarter. But a big victory, and of course, as I said, the Crows up to 4th on the ladder. There we go, 4th on the ladder now, 28 points, only 2 games off top, 130.6. So percentage boosted up for them today, which was good to see for the Crows. And of course, got some good games coming up for them next. Let's just quickly look at the goal scorers and disposal getters, because we're going to wrap this up and head over to the other game at the moment at the MCG, where it's quarter time. Melbourne 3-3-21 leading Sydney Swans 2-1-13 quarter time now. The MCG, Josh Rosselli ended up with a bag full of 5 for the Crows. Riley Thilthorpe with 2, Pedler 2, Peatling and Dawson each with 2 goals for the Crows. Ranky O'Brien, Neil Bullen, Keys, Fogarty ended up with 1. Sam Berry. For the Eagles, Jake Waterman, well, unfortunately for him in that final team, he went off with a dislocated shoulder. He ended up with 3 goals. Oscar Allen chipped in with 2. Harley Reid with 1, with Brady Hugh and Tyler Brockman also with 1. The disposal getters on the ground, no one hit 30. Jordan Dawson led the way with 27. Worrell with 26. Berry 26. Roy led 25. There we go. The top 6 all for Adelaide. Liam Duggan was the best for West Coast on 23 disposals. Riley O'Brien, not bad for Adelaide. 18 disposals, 10 kicks. He kicked a goal, 45 hit-outs, 4 clearances. Was pretty good out on the ground today. There we go. Let's just roll down these quickly before. Hey, the poll got it right, but I expected the poll to get our vote right today. 76% went for the Adelaide Crows, and everyone got it right today. Darcy Fogarty ended up with a goal. So he ended up with a goal in that final term. Just the 8 touches for him. 5 kicks, 1 goal, 1. Quick look at the team stats. It was Adelaide by about 104 plus in disposal count, 80 odd kicks, 30 odd handballs, inside 50s. Both teams had a fair bit inside their forward 50. Eagles just couldn't produce. 64, Adelaide 55. West Coast Eagles. Free kicks. There we go. Home team got the advantage. A few ticky-touch free kicks there. 27-16. The hit-outs, Adelaide dominating there, doubling Eagles 56-28. Clearances 46-36. Well, the Eagles held okay centre clearances 14-12 plus 2 to Adelaide, so they did reasonably good there. Contested possession, there we go, just 24 plus to Adelaide with the uncontested plus 70. Wowee, there we go. Even the marks, the uncontested, of course, turned into marks for the Adelaide, a plus 46 in the marks, both teams having good marks inside forward 50, 10 apiece. And of course, the tackles, Eagles just got to their season average. Adelaide tackled well today, 71. Especially tackles inside their forward 50 for Adelaide, 20. More than doubling their season average. So that was fantastic effort by Adelaide. But that is the game. That is result. That is it, folks. Hey, thanks everyone for coming in. Thanks, Alex 3B. Pushka was there. And of course, everybody else. Ella Rose was there. Tine was there. Aim was there. And of course, thanks to Ryan, the super chatter for this game. Appreciate that, Squire. There we go. But that was a fantastic game. If you're an Adelaide supporter, you're in the top 4. You're in the top 4. Well done, West Coast Eagles. I tell you what, they'll be glad that game is done and dusted, over and out. And then they can head back to Perth, regroup for next week's game. I tell you what a game. That was a blowout. I tell you what, let's hope the next game isn't a blowout. They've just started the second quarter, I should say, over there at the MCG. 3-4-22 Melbourne lead Sydney 3-1-19. 3 minutes into the second term. That's where we're heading now, folks. So, ciao for now, Ryan. Hey, thanks, brother. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. There we go. Go Tigers for next game. They play. All right, folks. Hey, that's it. I'll see you over at the next game. Thanks, everyone, for coming in for this game. But this game is over. This game is out until the next game in just a few moments' time. Ciao for now. We'll see you at the next game.